Archer and the Devil.
That wasn't real, David.
No, you know that film?
Oh, wait. Strap in, people.
I told you it was aliens.
I'm sold.
You said it was brown people.
No.
There's another natural creation.
What was that face?
Do you remember when you was little and you mum dad used to have all like the adults over and you'd be allowed to stay up late?
Welcome to Archer and the Devil and guest. As you can see, there are three of us today.
First time ever.
In the old studio.
In the old studio. I would like to announce? Present? What's the right word?
Present.
Welcome.
Manifest.
Welcome is probably a better word.
Yeah.
Let's go with welcome.
Yeah.
So I'd like to welcome Mr. David Whitehouse. He is... how would you describe yourself? You just tell us who you are and what you do, and then we'll go from there and we'll get into it. You've already seen the clickbaity title anyway, so you know what's coming.
Yeah, so I'm David Whitehouse, self-proclaimed UFO, or UAP as they call them now, expert. But I'm not sort of your average redneck, I saw a UFO, got probed sort of one. I mean,
they're our favourite ones.
Yeah, I mean, I've run my own business. I've got an honours degree in computing science. I could be nuts for you, Perno, but I mean, I'm not your average nutter.
You're pretty intelligent, as far as I'm aware. Pretty intelligent.
I don't know. They say there's a fine line between genius and insanity. And, but yeah. So that's me really. I've been into UFOs for some time, and I'm now here to convince you guys that aliens walk amongst us.
Okay, so should we even say where we stand first, or should we wait and let him tell us?
I think you should say where you stand.
He's got a pretty cool story. So
we'll say where we stand.
Okay.
We had this conversation. We had on the Q&A. We did a Q&A a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And someone asked a question about what's our favourite origin, universal origin story. And we discussed religion, simulation theory, block universe theory, and aliens. I'm by no means... I think aliens exist.
Yeah.
But even if it's just bacteria on another planet, that's alien. So... I also think it's arrogant to assume that we're the most intelligent beings in the known universe or unknown universe. Yeah. So that's my stance.
That's a good stance to have. Okay. I like that stance.
I'm pretty much the same. Like I think we don't know enough about everything to think that we are literally on our own. But obviously, I've got some questions.
Yeah, obviously,
always. But I'm sure you'll either answer them, or if not, I'll hold them to the end and see if you can give me an answer.
Okay, that sounds good.
So tell us your story, why and how you got into this.
Yes, so it all began a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. No, I was 8 years old. I used to stay on my mate's farm after school, and the one day his dad said, "Oh, we've got a crop circle. Come and have a look." So I went wandering up this field. We went through barbed wire fences, under hedges, and everything to get to this middle of the field, middle of nowhere, and there was this big-ass crop circle in the middle of it. And I remember to this day, I was 8, there was like a glaze on it, like when you burn something and it just glazes it. Mm-hmm. And it was all perfectly folded in it. And his dad said, I shouldn't have even been up this field this time of year. Looking here, I just found it by accident. And I remember them all talking, saying, well, people have got to fake it, you know what I mean? Somebody's come down and rolled some logs around or whatever. So I remember that the adults were all there looking around it. And they were saying, well, we've had to climb barbed wire fences and shit to get here. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they faked it, you'd think they put it in a pretty obvious place and an easier place to do. So that got my little brain thinking as an 8-year-old child. And then, moving forwards, years later, same farm, we always used to camp over there as kids. And it was our last day at school. There's 7 of us camping, and we had a big fire. We'd go camp out on one of the random fields, you know, as you do. There's 7 of us, and we're just sitting up, looking at the stars, having a chat, throwing crap on the fire. And we just saw this light, and it's in the UK, one of the UK's black zones. So there's dark zones around the UK where you get no light pollution, essentially. Yeah. And you could see from like that end of the horizon to that end of the horizon. And we watched this light just zoom from one end to the other in like a split second. You know what I mean? It was across, back, and up again, and down again. And it was zipping around all over the place. And we were like, I remember his little brother going, "Oh, look at that shooting star." We're like, "No, that ain't no shooting star."
Well, that was my first thought then. But then when you went up, down, I was like, oh, hang on a minute.
And then it come down, stopped, and come closer and hovered above this tree in the distance, right at the end of the field, bright white light. So I started running towards it.
As you do.
As you do.
Yeah. One of the other lads did. A couple of the others go, "Oh,
How old are you at this point?
It was last year at school, so I'd have been 17.
Right, okay.
Yeah. It would have been 1998. That would have been, so yeah. So I'm bombing it across, get halfway across the field. It kind of curls and just gone straight up into the atmosphere, gone like into a dot, smallest point ever. And it's gone. So then we're all there chatting, discussing about, we've just seen a UFO, aliens and all this kind of stuff. And the next day we went and told mate's mom and said, we saw this last night. And she said, well, I weren't going to say anything, but his dad went out last night to let the dogs out, and he come in, shook up, saying he saw this. He said what he described it as what looked like the corrugated parachutes. He said it looked like one of them with the row lights come straight over the top of the house really fast, and she thought he was going nuts, saying, "Oh, he's seen things." And she told us that, and then there were 7 of us up there. And I think if I'd have been on my own, in a field on my own, and I saw that, I'd have, when you get floaters in your eye, like a Family Guy, I'd probably thought it was somewhat one of them, or I don't know. I'd have explained it away. I'd have talked myself out of it, I think. But the 7 of us, to this day, who still swear we've saw that. And so that really got me looking into it deeper. And initially, I didn't believe aliens. I thought that's government technology, UFOs. I mean, it's them testing, like the radar hiding technology and all that kind of stuff. It's something to do with the government, and they were testing something, flying around over the fields. So that's what got me looking into it. So that's kind of what I looked into to begin with, really. I was a disbeliever. So you
had no interest before this?
No, yeah. I was, it piqued my interest, as I say, as a kid. I had a bit of interest into it, followed it on and off, but I always just thought it's government testing something and started looking into it deeper. And then I saw another 3 UFOs.
Just going back to the crop circle.
Yeah.
What happened after that? Like, was it ever explained? Was it ever discussed? What did his dad ever have any theories on it, or
nothing? It was just brushed off. It was in the paper. There was a picture of it in the local paper,
right?
In Chorley, where it was, and after that, there was nothing of it. But I mean, there are people that fake crop circles. I mean, my auntie lives in Devon. She's told me before about people who come down in hot air balloons and they'll land in the middle, roll out a crop circle, and do one. And they're people that do it. Do you know what I mean? For the crack. So there are fake ones out there.
Yeah.
Hot air balloon makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Normally,
yeah. But the thing is, they'll do it where you're going to see it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So it's really obvious. Yeah.
So it's the one. There's a real grey area in everything that It's there's the fakes and there's the reals, and you can't tell what's what. It's that deduction of information to try and work it out.
Was the crops that making the shape, were they folded over as though some had been over it, or was it burnt? When you said there was residue.
Yeah, it was folded like a heat glaze. If you burn your finger and you get like that, it's just shining like that. Yeah, it's like a shine to it.
That's mental.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I've seen a lot of them. A lot of crop circles.
Have you? I've never seen one.
Not seen one, but
photos of them.
Yeah,
it's not the same thing.
And pretty much every single one's different in it, and they're all like different patterns and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, so you've seen more.
Yeah, there's 3 more you've seen.
Yeah. So,
were you looking for them at this point?
No.
Oh, these are just...
No, yeah. So, years later, I used, one of my first jobs when I was at college, I worked at McDonald's and I worked on the late shift, and me and a mate, we just went over the chase one night after the late shift, went to Greasy Lills, had a sandwich, sat over the chase, just looking at the skies, and then I saw, exact same as before, a light zipping around, exactly the same as before. And I said, I was just like, oh yeah, I've seen one of them before. And he was all amazed.
He's back.
Yeah, they're back, yeah. But then after that, the other UFO I've seen, I didn't think it was a UFO at first. We was on the way to a car show back in the day, and I had some of the Vibe guys in the back of the car with me, and the missus said, oh, look at that. And there's 4 orange lights in the sky, really far apart, moving, like really slowly, precisely. I was like, that's weird, like... They're like synced helicopters that are moving really, perfectly in sync or something. Never thought anything of it. And then, this was the 9th of the 9th, 2009. I know this because my missus is born on the 9th of the 9th. And 2009, it was a weird date. So we were going out for her birthday to celebrate. And she went, there's them lights again. This was a few years later, them orange lights. And I was driving down the A5. And it was, it's a clear night and you can see the clouds, but it's still dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like that. And the weirdest thing there was... really far apart, orange lights, dots like this, either under my finger there, but you couldn't see through.
Right, I'm with you.
So I'm going, it's a helicopter carrying a sheet. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking of all the explanations.
That's a good way to describe it, though, of what you're seeing. That's what it looks like it could be.
Because I'm the one trying to disprove it. I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, that's like, I don't know, drones carrying a big board or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Because it weren't like the lights were moving around like this. They were bang on a square. So I turned around, followed it, and chased it for a bit. This is when I worked at Vibe Audio, so I had a boot full of bass speakers, essentially. Pulled over at Muckley Corner on the A5. It was going dead slow. It wasn't zipping around. So as it come over me, I was out my car, turned my car off, and all my speakers went...
What?
And we were like, whoa. So, yeah, we carried on following it. Because, like I say, it was going dead slow. So I went down the lanes until I got to a point where it was a dead end. And then it sort of carried on. And then it was like, I'll do one now. By the time I found my way back round, like, I can't chase it across the country forever. But, yeah, that was freaky. And at that time, I was going, that isn't a UFO. That's just something that, I don't know, that's being carried. But then since I've been looking into it more... There's so many... I didn't know there were sightings like that. In my mind, a UFO is what I saw first, a light flying around the sky. Yeah. And that was a UFO. That's why I was saying that ain't, because I've seen a UFO and I know what UFOs look like. But now, if you look at sightings, there's loads of sightings in Mexico and Brazil, everywhere, of exactly what I've described. People saying orange lights, blocked out in the middle, going across the sky. And I only found that out after I saw them.
Right,
you know what I mean? So, and again, I think the good thing is I've always had somebody with me.
Yeah.
Like, if it had been on my own each time, and I thought... There's something going on here. You know what I mean? I need to go see a doctor.
And you've been sober every time as well.
Yeah. So that's my experience, and that's what really.
What was the third one? Sorry.
There was the first one, and then there was three more.
The two zippy white ones.
Two zippy white ones, and
orange lights.
Oh, two orange lights twice.
Two helicopters carrying sheets.
Right. Okay then.
So that got you interested then?
Yeah. So I started, I've always looked into it, but that's when I really, really started deeply...
After the last one?
Yeah, after the last one. Really started deeply looking into it. Again, thinking that's something the government are doing or something, or, that... Cause, it's easy for me to sit here and say this to you, because you haven't seen it. It can be like, oh, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But once you've seen something like that, it's like, yeah, that's... And then I started talking to people about it. And then... Other people start saying, oh, yeah, I've seen a UFO, and, don't tell anybody. And I know a guy in the police who told me in 96 he sat up, he was really high up in the police, he sat up near Chorley where I first saw the first zippy light with his mate on top of the common, and they saw a white light exactly as I described, flying around the sky, one end of the horizon to the other. And he said to his police officer, mate, should we report it? And they're like, nah, I think we're nuts. And I think that's the thing, a lot of people have seen it. And stuff.
Think they'll be discredited straight away.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I started openly saying, something going on here now, looking into it, and that's. I did a lot of research and ended up being one of 9 UK MUFON investigators in the UK. So,
what's MUFON?
So MUFON is the Mutual UFO Network. It's the biggest UFO network. When you see a sighting, it's where you submit a sighting to.
Right,
It's the biggest one in the world. It's mentioned on X-Files and all that kind of stuff. So I was one of the UK ones. So any sites then came through to me, and I had to pass an exam. So I had to I had to do this exam that I had to know which side of an aeroplane had the red light, which had the green light, which way it was facing. Know a drone, know where bright Mars was. So the whole exam was about disproving stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's immediately eliminating things that could be that's a plane, that's a planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So I was a MUFON investigator for a while. So I'd get sightings sent to me. I ain't gonna lie, 50% of them were just, oh, that's Mars.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's some red twinkling in the sky, really bright. Yeah, that's Mars. Or it was going zzz, and it had a green light and a red light one side of it. Like, yeah, that's a drone. A number of them were like that. But there's some real interesting ones as well. The most interesting ones for me were where I'd get one in Liverpool, for example, and they'd say, I saw this. And then you'd get one in Blackpool at an hour's difference, at an hour's time, saying, I saw this. And it'd be the exact same description. Okay. Two people don't know each other from Adam, exact same description. Then you sometimes you get one day in London somewhere, 3 hours later, saying, I saw this, and it'd be the same. That's where it interested me, because those...
Is there anywhere that they're more frequent than anywhere else? Is there one hotspot?
There's quite a few hotspots, really. I mean, Cannock Chase is known as a hotspot in the UK, but the main hotspots around nuclear sites, nuclear bunkers.
Really?
Yeah, massive. There's a really good documentary on Amazon Prime called, I think, UFOs and Nukes, where they interview a bunch of 80-year-old blokes who used to work in the nuke bunkers. And these guys are going, yeah, they'd come along and they'd turn them off and tinker around with them. And, you know, I mean, they're just openly saying, yeah.
It happened. It's like
a
normal thing.
And most of the sightings, which I'll come into in a bit, are around nuclear bases. Yeah.
That's worrying.
That's a bit. You're also never going to watch that documentary?
No, because it's on Prime.
Because it's on Amazon.
I don't do Amazon. If you don't know, if you're new to this, because of David or Aliens, I'm not an Amazon fan.
So you're not going to watch that.
We'll move on from that. You can watch it and tell me about
I'll
it.
Watch it.
I'm sure you can find a rip on YouTube.
Yeah.
And
so
screw him over by watching it.
So the most we know, the most. I don't know. I don't really want to use the wrong word here, but I don't want to say normal people because that's not what I mean. But people that are not necessarily into it or haven't seen it or are not really.
I think
bothered.
that would be the thing. People who haven't experienced it.
Yeah, we'll use that word.
Skeptical.
Non-experiencers. The most they know is, like you mentioned, X-Files, that sort of thing. That's probably one of the biggest ones that the majority of people, the paranormal, all that sort of stuff, aliens, whatever.
Independence Day.
Yeah, obviously you've got your films, and 9 times out of 10, if anybody mentions that they've seen a UFO, nutcase.
Yeah.
That's it. So, obviously you had an experience and you didn't necessarily, like you've said then, you was kind of alluding to the fact that you was trying to rationalise it.
Yeah.
When you first seen it with the orange lights and even the other things, you thought, is it something in my eye? And everything else. You was trying to rationalise it. So I suppose you just go, like the police officer friend was like, no, I didn't see that anyway, move on. I know what I've seen, and it was helicopters and this, that and the other. You then got to a point where you was like, I'm into this, and you went in to this.
I went deep in, yeah.
What kind of like experiences did you find? I know you mentioned a couple just, but like that really, again, I don't want to say made you a believer, but made you think that there's something else out there.
I think it's copious amounts of research now, essentially, and the problem is people are seeing UFOs every day, but you don't hear about it because they don't make the news. Do you know what I mean? There's there's a million, just over 1 million people in Birmingham alone. One of them sees a UFO, tells a mate it's not on the news.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, it just isn't anymore. But what's becoming more interesting now is it is hitting the news, and that's because of the new COVID relief bill and the Freedom of Information Act. That things are being slowly released. But I think taking a step back to what you said as well about people think you're nutcase, that is all on purpose. So that was actually orchestrated by Truman.
Right, okay.
President. So he sat down and he said, right, UFOs are a massive problem. What are we going to do about this? And it was a guy called General Walter Bidle Smith, who's a World War II psychological warfare person.
Strong name.
Yeah. He employed him, and this guy said, well, if you tell a lie repeatedly enough with respected authority, it'll become believable. And if you mix it in with a load of other crazy things,
right, okay,
then you're crazy. The real crazy thing is mixed in with all the other crazy things, so everything's crazy.
So by you're saying UFOs to them, was that literally that an unidentified flying object, or was it more so that they thought it was aliens, or it was something that they didn't know?
I think the best thing to do is take a step right back to sort of 1940s.
Right.
So in the 40s, the Army and the Air Force were combined, the Army Air Force, and they put adverts out in magazines because UFOs were becoming a massive thing. There was sightings everywhere, people seeing them in the 40s, which just so happens to be just after when we tested the first nuclear bomb.
Right, okay.
When we tested the first nuke and we got the technology to get into space, all of a sudden UFO sightings, and it was massive in the 40s, huge. And you can see adverts in they were putting out, we'll pay people a reward, £3,000 reward, anybody who can give us information on what these are, or captures one or anything like that. So anyway, Roswell happened. You heard of Roswell, the big crash?
51,
yeah. So Roswell, New Mexico, crash happens, the town of Roswell, there's a massive crash, farmer goes out there, got a UFO, goes on Roswell radio and says, I caught a UFO, there was alien bodies, blah, 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 blah. Next day, government turn up, Farmer goes away. Farmer comes back. Brand new truck. Brand new house. Back on the radio. Yeah, it was a weather balloon.
Right, okay.
So, and then after that, that's when it really started to change. I think it was within 6 months, the CIA of Roswell, the CIA and the FBI were founded. So
right, okay.
Yeah, so within 6 months it happening, they were created. Then straight away they were going, oh no, it's nothing. There's nothing to see here. And then you've got like President Eisenhower, who's supposedly met an ET. You've got his advisors. One of his advisors, his son, has now come out and told all the stories that his dad told him.
Right, okay.
And you can watch interviews of this. There's a documentary called Unacknowledged by a guy called Stephen Greer, who's quite well up in UFO circles. He's very, some people, he's got a lot of funny things going on as well, but he interviews real high-end military people who used to work. One of the son of the guy who was the advisor of Eisenhower, he interviews people who used to work the CIA in that division, the Pentagon, and people who've got the documents saying that we worked there. And so there's loads of interviews with these people actually saying, all this. And this is the kind of thing, these are the people you'll believe. You see John Boy on the street who says he saw a UFO.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you got the credentials behind it.
Yeah. When you're speaking to, the latest one that's just come out, Louis Elizondo used to work at the Pentagon heading the UFO program. He's come out now and said, yeah, that was my job there. And he was responsible for releasing the what's called the Tic Tac UFO video. And it's the first official video the Navy have said, yeah, we filmed this.
Is that the one that came out last year?
Yeah.
That was
Right,
one
okay,
that the guy was that the guy that was on Joe Rogan as well.
Yeah, and
he got interviewed on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy who saw it is really well up. He's got like Top Gun. He's got like qualifications in piloting that you can't even get anymore.
Right.
And I think that Joe Rogan said like the planes that he's flying are worth 30 million, and they don't give them to idiots.
Yeah.
So this guy's just telling his story that we chased it for a while. My mate got it on radar, and he's looking at the radar and the pictures and saying, and that means it's doing this speed and so on. And with no idea what it was. They said that the boat we came off said they'd been out there for weeks.
He probably knows about other aircraft that we don't know about as well. So do you know what I mean? And he's looked at that and
To be able to discredit it, should
exactly,
it be that?
that's what I mean. So he probably knows about other technology that we don't know about being so high up.
Yeah.
And he's gone, definitely wasn't
Well,
a
it
plane.
describes that. When you watch the footage, they couldn't lock onto it because it was jamming the radar, which is technically an act of war. So they had to lock onto it with the sensor screen where everything goes black and white. So he said there's no plumes coming out the back of it. This is sensing heat. It's a solid object that's zipping around the sky with no plumes coming out the back of it. And so he's describing it's about the size of he says some aeroplane. He describes it, it's about the size of that, and he's relating it to a lot of that, like you say.
It's an incredible video.
Yeah, no, it is.
It really is.
Did they officially announce that it was a UFO? But by that meaning, it's just a...
Yeah.
It's an
Well, that's the thing. Anything that in the sky that you don't know what it is technically a UFO.
So you said at the start, they're not called UFOs anymore, they're called...
UAPs, and that's all part of the new plan now to make it sound normal.
What's a UAP?
Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've gone through this plan ages ago. Churchill met with Eisenhower, discussed it. This is all, there's documents of this happening. All this happened a long time ago, and they tried to discredit it. But now, at some point, we've got to get it out there.
Have the conversation.
We're easing in now. We can't just overnight go, boom, there's aliens.
Yeah.
Because everybody will go, what? You've got to... There's a Chinese saying that says if you throw a lobster into a pot of boiling water, it'll jump straight back out. But if you put it in cold water and boil them in, they'll sit there. So that's what it's happening essentially. Boiling us in the pot, easing us in, and getting used to it. So they've changed the name to UAPs now because UFOs is known as crackpots.
It's already discredited.
Yeah, so it's a nice new name.
And it does make sense. Like one thing I think off media, off films, off television shows and stuff, it's always been that, oh yeah, I saw an alien. It's always a guy who's drunk, lost his family.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Got probed. Like in Independence, there's that one guy,
Yeah.
and when he's the one that goes up at the end, he's like, "I'm back, boys,"
Yeah.
and that's kind of been the selling point of that. If you see UFOs, it does make sense as well. Why, if the government were trying to discredit it, that's the best way to go. Make them sound crazy.
Yeah.
Are there people who are harming the cause, but probably have seen it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'd imagine there's people that make a living off talking shit.
Oh, yeah.
There isn't any any kind of thing like this that's not really got any proof.
There's definitely there's people in there at the moment who are bringing out stuff for the who are working alongside the government. So what's going to happen is at some point they're going to start saying, "Oh yeah, there's UFOs and we don't know what they are." They know what they are,
right?
You know what I mean? They've got them captured. Bob Lazar, Area 51. He worked at Area 51. There's a great documentary and book by him as well called Dreamland. And to begin with, again, he was discredited. People going, "Oh, he says he worked at Area 51. He's got documents to say he did, but the stuff he's saying, how do we know?" And at that time, he was saying there was an element called Element 115, and he was saying that there's things that you can put your hands on as you go into the building that scan your bone density that let you in. And he was telling you all this stuff. So anyway, this was years back. And in 2015, scientists discovered Element 115.
Just miraculously.
On this planet?
Yeah, on this planet.
Just wanted to double check.
Yeah. And he was saying, way before it was discovered, something called Element 115 is used for the anti-gravity technology, and this is the way they do it, and so on. And then all of a sudden they discovered it, and people are like, hang on a minute. Bob Lazar said that a while back. And now they've got the technology as you're going in. They've announced that they've got the bone scanning technology. The stuff he was saying
has all come accurate.
Has come out now. So people are starting to rethink.
And I think that's down to, like you mentioned earlier, about the Freedom of Information Act and stuff like that. This is 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
It's now, they can't hide it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things, if you look on the National Archives, there's actually the whole documentation of the Churchill cover-up on there, of Churchill discussing it and covering it up. And I can send you the link to that.
What's that? Tell us more. Don't just say that and then just go, anyway, move on.
Well, when
give us details.
Eisenhower and Churchill discussing what we're going to do about this whole UFO situation. Let's just kind of brush it under the carpet. We've got a war to think about. Essentially that. And then you go on to the war. I mean, the Foo Fighters, you know why the band the Foo Fighters are called the Foo Fighters?
Yeah.
Because the guys in the war just got used to them flying next to them.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another Foo Fighter. And, you can watch countless interviews on YouTube and so on of World War II veterans just going, yeah, they were up there, they were next to us, flying along next to us, we just got used to them. So
what, alien ships? Like, not alien ships, but UFOs?
Yeah. And that's
really?
And that's what they called them, the Foo Fighters, and that's obviously what the band's called.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew that.
You need to explain this shit, Dave. You can't just gloss over stuff.
Yeah, I just assume.
Before I'm going to forget later.
Yeah.
With the whole, because there's a big argument about, the technological revolution came after the Roswell incident, and they think that alien tech is what was used.
Oh yeah, we've got that, the biggest advancement in civilization ever. From when I was born in 1981, my job now has been invented in my lifetime because I'm a web designer. Do you know what I mean? It's computers and technology and everything has moved on so fast.
But do you think that stems from alien tech?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, it's easy for me just to sit here and go, yeah. I think that. I believe that, but without giving context. And I think because I've read so many books and things into it, and I've read books that I've just stopped reading because it's all just been opinion based. A bloke going, well, I think the aliens doing this, and I think, and I can't deal with that. Somebody just going, I think because I think. I like the ones where it's based on evidence.
Okay, so why do you think that alien tech has advanced us to where we are now?
Okay, yeah, so again, all I can do is sort of relate to books because I'm giving the information that I've read in books and looked out there. So there's a book, let me just find the name of it.
Okay.
Give me a second.
I like the thought that aliens have advanced.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it is one of those things where it's so easy to dismiss and go, well, of course they don't exist, but why wouldn't they?
But also, like David just said, it's so... Like we literally, like you said, the last 50 years, not even that really, from internet onwards, the difference in mankind compared to the previous. I mean, they found it was on the radio this morning that they reckon they've found a Neanderthal remains that they think is possibly 100,000 years old.
Right. Okay.
That was on the news this morning. So from 100,000 years ago to when did the internet start? 50s,
70s,
60s?
I think.
Yeah. Well, officially, government-wise, about that. Again, it come from the government texting first. But first home computer was 1981, so it was really from then on.
So from 100,000 years ago to 1981, not a lot happened.
No.
In
We got a steam engine.
That's basically it. Yeah, not a lot really happened. A TV popped up and the old telephone.
No, I think a lot did happen. It wasn't.
Yeah, but in that space, in that
No, I
time
think
period,
even then,
I mean,
like I still think I don't want to discredit hundreds of thousands
I
of
do.
years of human evolution.
I do, because if you
Burnt
look
coal the whole time.
that's what
That
I'm
was pretty much
saying.
it.
If you then all of a sudden go from, we'll
we
say,
created maths and science and
yeah, but
Actually,
then,
that was 4000 BC. The Sumerians who said
It was
aliens
yeah.
put us here. We'll come
Yeah.
on to that.
see,
no, it was a,
but then if you go from the 80s, so that's only 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 41 years ago. Maths, obviously, this man didn't learn maths.
it was 40 years ago.
In the last 40 years,
Yeah.
you look at the difference
Yeah.
between even just,
Well,
not
look at-
even the 40 years before that,
Well-
you could go the 100 years
Well,
before that.
look at the phone you've got now compared to what a computer was
Yeah.
20 years ago.
And that's why you've got to ease it in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As I say, you've got to boil that lobster in the pot. You can't just go in and go, hey guys, we've got this new phone, to somebody who's got a steam engine.
Yeah.
That ain't going to work. You've got to
Gone
ease
from
us
this
into
to
it.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So what was the thing you were just trying
Yeah,
to
so
find?
the book, again, it was the unacknowledged, it was the book. of
Okay, the one you mentioned earlier,
So
yeah.
in there, he's interviewing a lot of people, and in there, it's people saying, yeah, we got the tech from Alien Tech, and then advanced on it and put it out, and they're saying we met with people, presented this tech, and they're asking really weird questions and stuff like that, and we didn't know who they were in the room, and so again, but these are credited people who actually worked in the CIA, have come out since and released the information.
Right, okay.
Again, not just somebody saying that's my opinion. Do you know what I mean? Again, who's to say these guys aren't making it up? But if they are, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
You've got Buzz Aldrin, the second man to walk on the moon, who, again, you can watch the interview of him saying, they were up there. Something
I
was
feel
following
sorry for
us.
Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah.
Second guy to walk on the moon.
know,
He
yeah.
walked on the moon.
I mean, I don't feel that
Second
bad for him.
guy.
He's still been on the moon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd feel more sorry for you for not walking on
Was
the
there,
moon.
who's the third? Was there a third? Was there just the two of
I don't
them?
know. Nobody knows the third.
No one
do
knows
they?
the third.
No one cares. So he said that he's seen UFOs up
Yeah,
there.
he had to switch to a medical channel because they said, how far away is the, I don't know, the thing that drops off, I forgot what it's called, the fuselage or something like that. How far away is that? Yeah, that's long gone. And then he switched over to a medical channel and he said, yeah, there's something up here and there's something following us and they're warning us off and we're not wanted here. And that's why the other Apollo missions obviously failed.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that meant to be a UFO there, or was that meant to be a land-based organism?
UFOs, yeah, floating
Okay,
around.
so it wasn't like a dude.
No, you're not sort of
Shaped.
going, fuck off from my moon.
With the reports of aliens that have been documented here, so with the guy in Roswell and stuff like that, is there a reoccurring theme amongst that? Is it like the same kind of descriptions of them?
Yeah, so there's multiple descriptions of the same thing. But just back on the moon
Sorry,
subject,
go on, yeah.
there's a really interesting thing about the moon. It's mathematically impossible for the moon to be the way it is, or near closest to impossible as you can get.
Why?
Because, the size of the sun in the sky.
Yes.
Nobody ever thinks of this. The sun's bloody huge, right?
Oh, yeah, but the distance is away.
Yeah, and the moon is the exact same
Yeah.
size. So when you get the eclipse, it covers it exactly.
Right.
But the moon's dead tiny.
Right.
So the distance of them makes them
Yeah,
the same size
yeah.
in the sky. And that's close to near mathematically impossible for that to happen.
But isn't that based on our gravity, though? Because the moon was arguably initially part of Earth.
Yeah, it got smashed
Another
off.
planet called Theia.
Yeah, but for that to form the exact same size as the sun.
I know what you mean, to black it out
Yeah,
completely
it's perfect.
in the exact
I
distance
do.
away.
I get
Yeah.
that, but at the same time, we live close enough to the sun, but not too far away to exist.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things. I mean, it's mathematically probably close to impossible that we even sit here now
Right.
because our grandparents have met their grandparents and so
Yeah,
on
yeah,
and
yeah.
not died through history. But yeah, I just always find that really interesting. And there is a whole theory that the moon is a base put there, obviously, and the dark side of the moon, and there's structures and things on there. And again, that's the kind of thing where I'll get into a bit of grey area.
Yeah,
Like,
no, same. That's a bit of.
yeah, I'm not saying it's
It's food for thought, though.
it's food for thought, but
No, it is. No, not
It's
that.
not-
I
I
mean,
think, okay, if
I
there
mean,
were-
if
if-
you, like you just explained then, like, the chances of the coincidence of the fact that the sun is so big and it's so far away, but it's just the perfect distance away from the moon,
Yeah.
that's then just the perfect distance away from us, that at a specific point, it covers it perfectly and it blacks it out completely. It's not just a little bit too
I think
small.
I think that makes perfect sense.
In what sense?
In the sense that we're here to have a conversation about it.
What?
The fact that we're here to have a conversation about it,
Yeah.
beyond any comprehension of why we should be here having a conversation about it, makes sense for why the moon would be that far away.
I literally have no idea what
That's
you've
fine.
just said.
You don't normally anyway.
I get what he means.
My only thing is as well with the moon, with the theory of it being created or something like that, is there any science or is that just one guy once thought it and then that's just been a narrative that's created from there?
Well, I mean, it probably stemmed from that thought.
You
Then.
know how you said earlier, you don't want to just hear someone's opinion and go,
Yeah.
is that just an opinion or is there any science behind it?
Yeah, there's no credible people that have come out and gone, yeah, there's something on the moon.
Okay.
That I know of. There might have, but I haven't looked too deep
Have there been-
down that avenue.
Okay, have there been conflicting people who had no reason
But there's
to do the same
pictures
thing?
of the dark side of the moon, which with things that looks like pipes and things coming out of it. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh,
you know,
no.
you can look at these. There's pictures of what look like structures
Okay.
up there, essentially. And there's a lot of people who said they've seen it flicker on and off.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah. Again, I'm going like this. And what? I mean, I'm the one saying I've seen an alien, but
The thing is, that seems more plausible. Well, UFOs.
yeah, UFOs.
But
yeah.
the thing is, there are certain things that do seem plausible and certain things that don't. Seeing an object, be it a military thing or be it an outer-worldly thing, that seems plausible.
Yeah.
The world, the moon being made of cheese or being a base for aliens and stuff like that, that's where I'm a bit like, that's a bit far-fetched.
Yeah.
Wait, it's not cheese.
No, apparently it's not.
Wallace and Gromit went there.
Wallace and Gromit's a lie.
It's an absolute lie.
But I'm on the fence with that because it is
That
very.
cheese.
The moon's very unusual. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, there's
It is,
something odd about
But
it.
then, so, I mean, Jupiter's a big gas planet. There's no solid body to it. That's weird to me.
Yeah, but if it was the exact same size as everything else, that'd be even weirder, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I just think it makes sense. So, but that's
See,
just me.
I can see where people would get the theory that it's almost too perfect for it to be natural.
But again,
as
I think
such.
we live in the perfect distance away from the sun to
exactly
to harbour life.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
on a Goldilocks planet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why they're interested in us, and that's why they keep coming back.
But then we don't know how many of the Goldilocks planets there are in the unknown universe.
Okay, here's a conspiracy theory for you.
Okay.
Oh, we love a conspiracy
We do.
theory.
This is a good conspiracy theory. Okay, so there's a guy on Reddit about 7 or so years ago who said he was abducted.
Right.
He set up a throwaway account. He said, I was abducted. And he wasn't one of these people who just say it and go away. He kept answering people's questions, people asking about it. And he said, in July 8th or 18th, couldn't quite work out what they said, everything will be revealed. They said that's where they're going to announce everything.
This year.
2021. Okay.
And when did he say this?
I think it's 2014 thereabouts.
Okay.
Right, okay. And now, all of a sudden, the COVID relief bills come where they've said you've got 180 days to release all documents on UFOs, which is the weird thing to put in a COVID relief bill anyway. Do you know what I mean? Just why that in the COVID relief bill just signed, you've got 180 days to release all UFO documents, okay? Which falls in July. But if somebody did the maths, and if you was to sort of fly from, I think it's called Zeta Reticuli, the nearest habitable zone.
What's it called?
Zeta Reticuli.
It's a rad name.
Yeah.
I like that.
I bet Elon Musk came up with that name.
Sure.
Yeah. That'll be his next kid, isn't it?
100% that's his
That'll
second,
be his next kid,
that's
yeah,
his
yeah.
second born.
Yeah.
So if you was to travel from there to Earth at the speed of light from the day we tested the first nuclear bomb, guess when you'd arrive?
Ah.
July 8th, 2021.
What?
Yeah. But that is a conspiracy theory.
Don't do that. So,
That's
realistically...
not a conspiracy theory, that's maths.
That is maths.
That is maths, but it's probably coincidental maths. This guy
It's a
set
big
up a throwaway.
coincidence.
The moon was a coincidence,
Yeah.
but apparently it's not now, because you said it's not.
Yeah, but it could. I'm excited. I'm hopeful. I want to be that guy off Independence Day. Goes, I'm back, and makes, you know what I mean. I want to be that guy that no longer looks.
Did they probe you?
Yeah.
No,
This podcast just got way more relevant. Way more relevant.
Yeah.
I am frightened of being probed by the time I leave.
I'm not. Oh, okay.
by the time we leave here,
I just realised what you said then. I thought you meant in July.
you should be.
When did you say, June or July?
July 8th or July 18th?
8th.
It is the 8th.
Well, he said 8th or 18th. but a
Fucking
lot
busy
of
that
us know.
day as well.
Maybe we should delay this podcast a month.
No, we shouldn't.
Put it out a month before.
No, we shouldn't. We'll be
Remember
fine.
the
But think of
date.
the hits this is going to get.
Yeah,
now if it
after
happens.
that.
We believe that, that's not even a conspiracy theory, we believe that on July the 8th
He does.
or 18th, you
The
can't.
8th. It is 8th.
Yeah, but I've been there before. I put a bet on in 2016 that UFOs were going to be announced then, and I didn't win.
Really?
Yeah.
Why were you sure then?
I just felt it. I felt it in my bones. No. It was when things... And I was right, because when you look back at it now, it was when things started to come out.
When David Bowie died?
Yeah, it was when, yeah, Spaceman.
I've told you, right, when David Bowie died, the universe just started unfolding.
I don't even know.
It was actually when the guy...
Wait, was that 2017?
It was 2004 that the Tic Tac video was filmed. It was when the guy left the Pentagon. It was when things started announcing things, and when the government started acting a bit more serious about it, changing the names, and it's when the whole paradigm just shifted from this is crazy to there's official people talking about it now. Yeah, we come out and this is real, and we're releasing the documents. It was that shift, and it just happened that year. And I was like, something's going on here.
Is that how old that video is, that Tic Tac video? 2004?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, and in Mexico as well, the Mexican Navy filmed the exact same thing from their end at the same time.
Yeah, because they said it had been there for weeks, didn't it? And nobody really thought to mention it.
Well, they were doing tests out there, and they were just going, yeah, they've been up there a while.
Is the common conception with aliens that they're in this universe or from a... I've got to think about time, right? So, is there ever a theory of like when they're from, not where they're from?
Yes, there's a few different types of aliens, 12 to be precise. But
Wait, whoa! What did I just say to you?
You can't just skip over that.
Gloss
you can't
over
just say there's 12 kinds of aliens and then go.
things.
Anyway, what was I saying?
yeah, I can't remember them all. The main ones are the tall greys.
How can you not remember the 12 aliens?
Yeah.
I remember 25 players in the West Brom squad, and I don't need to.
2 years ago, there was only 2 genders. Yeah. Now there's nearly 100.
33, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's to say that there can't be 12 different types of aliens?
Exactly. But the main ones are the tall greys, the short greys, and the ones that look like us are supposed to be the Anakai, the basically.
Oh, is that the Anunnaki ones?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
I like them ones.
Yeah,
that's fun.
So I'm not sure which ones they are, but there is which ones come through time, but there is word out there that there's different types and some travel cross universe.
Because that's Joe Rogan's belief, isn't it? That we blew out the sun or something and our eyes turned black to protect ourselves from something and our skin changed because of the particles we were getting, and that's just future versions of us.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so a lot of people believe that certain aliens aren't from a different planet, they're from a different
It's just
time.
what we end up as.
So they're almost coming back to prevent...
And then there's the perfect humans, the ones that come down. People are saying they're really tall, beautiful blonde hair.
Oh, I was doing so well.
Yeah. Blue eyes.
It's racist.
Perfect figure in every way.
Racist aliens.
Yeah, basically, yeah. The ones that never get... You never see a UFO site in Africa. But, no, in fact, you do. There's the kids over there. That was a massive sighting, actually. Bunch of kids at school. Did you ever look into that one?
Was that the one with the 3 kids?
Why would we look into this?
I don't know. See,
This is the first we've heard of any of
What
it.
was that thing?
There's a school. Hang on. I've got it on my notes where it was.
You've just dropped a bomb saying that there's 12 different types of aliens.
How do they know there's 12 different types of aliens?
Skipping around it. I don't know. There's a...
You know what? We should, because I want to get to pyramids in a minute as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to work through your linear timeline, because I've got so many things in my head at the minute that I want to ask.
I'm boiling you all in the pot. That's what I'm doing.
I'm fine being bored in the pot.
Yeah.
I'm impatient.
I mean, you're asking a lot of questions. I'm just sitting here
trying to process.
just quite gobsmacked about what's going on right now.
Yeah. So, but yes, there are aliens that supposedly do travel through time. There is the theory that they are future versions of us. There's the theory that they are just robots. So,
like in AI.
Yeah. So we're all already looking into sort of carbon skin. Chemical-based robots, and there's the theory that they are.
It'll be Japan, won't it? It'll be fucking Japan.
What do you mean, future versions of us? Explain to me and the other people that are not you.
So, for example, if you go off the block universe theory, which is that everything that has happened is just stick with me. Don't react. I said a word. Right. It's called eternalism. Which is
that's 4 words you've just thrown in.
The block
None
universe.
of know what
The
you're talking
block
about.
universe theory is that everything that has happened is happening and will happen, has already happened in a singular moment, and we're just experiencing it. So let me put it like this: if you watch Titanic on DVD, right, you know it's always going to hit the iceberg.
Right,
it's already happened. You just haven't got to that bit yet.
Okay.
So we're currently in the car fucking. That's where we are in the film. Yeah, when Jack fucks Rose in the car.
No, I thought it was all on the boat.
The boat on the car. The car on the boat, even. That makes way more sense.
There's a car on the boat?
Yeah. There's ship cars over.
Yeah, the window? The
steamy window. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen Titanic all the way through.
Well, we need to change that. Anyway, hypothetically, just say we're at that point in the film. And we know everything's about to happen, right? We just haven't experienced it yet. So theoretically, if all time is in a singular moment, Once you work that out and work out how you can get through it, then you realistically could travel through different points of time because it's all the same time.
And there's technically no such thing as time. The higher you get, the younger you are.
Yeah.
It's like the twin paradox. If you were to take a twin, fly him into space at the speed of light, come back, he'd be like 7 years older than the other twin. Or 7 years look older, but be the same age.
If they left... Okay, let me break that down properly for you.
If you lived on top of Everest...
You haven't explained my first
no,
question.
let me ask. So if me and you, now for an episode, right, you went to Mars and back, and you went at the speed of light.
Yeah.
No, that's probably not a good example because it's still, 30 years to Mars?
So, yeah.
No, it's less than that, isn't it now? It's like
9 months.
9 months. Say you went to a planet. Remember the dinosaur thing? I was saying to you, if you went on a planet 65 million light years away, you can look back and see dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Of course it does.
Well, like a lot of the stars you see in the sky are already dead.
Well, I said that to you.
We're not going through this again.
Okay. So, but what I'm saying is, if you travelled in light years and you went...
So you're saying the aliens have come back in time?
Essentially.
Well, there's no such
Why
thing
don't
as
you
time.
There is no such thing as time.
Why don't you just say that? If you're saying they're future versions of us...
Which part of future versions of us being here now?
So they're coming back...
If that, they're not coming back.
But they're more advanced than us.
Yeah.
Because they're future versions of us. But it's us in the future.
It's future from our present.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you. Carry on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the potential theories.
Right.
And that's the theory of heaven as well, you know, like the Pac-Man theory. You know, when you look at Pac-Man, because he lives in a 2D universe, you can look at his little map and go, well, don't go up there because there's a ghost up there, but if you go down there, there's a fruit down there. Do you know what I mean? But he from his point of view, all he's seen is walls.
Yeah.
How do they know that? How does that God know that? Do you know what I mean? Now, we're in a 3D universe. Imagine if you were in a 4D universe, you'd see all time, everything, every singularity right now.
Yeah, because there's three spatial dimensions and one temporal. Remember?
Don't.
There's three spatial.
So we're like the Pac-Man.
Doing that.
Yeah.
But the aliens are up here.
Yeah, so 4 dimensions would be if one of those extra dimensions was a spatial dimension.
I mean, it is a UFO-based episode.
Yeah.
So, I
For
mean,
anybody who is watching this because of
gonna
UFOs
happen.
who doesn't normally watch our podcast, this is kind of what happened. So, by all means, tune in.
Go back
Right,
to what you were
let's go
talking
back.
about.
All right, where was we?
Jesus Christ, I didn't think this was going to be that difficult.
Should
I
we
thought I
go
was
to-
just going to sit here and go,
I kind of want to go to
Let's go back
enter
through my-
Samaria.
Okay, yeah, I love this. I love the Sumerians.
Oh, I love the
Absolute brilliant
Sumerians.
story, yeah. So, the Sumerians, obviously...
Do you want me to step out? Are you sure?
Yeah,
Do you want me to just... It's like Andy Harris all over again.
Go on, carry on.
Yeah, so the Sumerians, obviously, they gave us pottery.
Who are the Sumerians?
The first ever civilization known to man. So, before this, we were just nomads wandering around, not doing very much, hitting
On our
things
own.
with sticks, yeah.
Okay.
Basically. And then overnight, literally like that, we just became super intelligent. Overnight. Like, the first civilization just become really intelligent. And
this is all documented and proven.
this is history.
Yeah,
Okay,
this
right.
is proven
Yeah.
history.
Okay.
So they gave us pottery, writing. They gave us maths. They gave us the breaking down of the calendar into 12 months and into 60 seconds. Everything like that overnight. They knew the distance of the stars and the size of the planets.
I didn't know it was overnight.
Yeah, it was like, well, in historical terms, overnight. Do you
Right.
know what I mean? So not like, they woke up one day.
Like, oh shit! Look, I just dreamt this,
And
and,
they're
now I know.
wearing a monocle.
Now I know maths.
But no, in terms of archaeology, you look, archaeologists have found people hitting things with sticks.
And then they found.
And then in archaeological terms, next day, where on earth did this come from? You know what I mean? Like,
So the archaeologists found it overnight.
yeah.
There you go. Right.
So the Sumerians gave all this stuff to us, maths the lot, and then also in their texts they say the gods came down from another planet. They came down from the skies. They molded us in their image. They made us smart. They gave us all the information. And there's a whole load of stories about what the gods did then when they were just messing around on Earth,
Just
doing
chilling.
stuff, just chilling, yeah. But everybody's like, oh yeah, thanks Sumerians. Yeah, we'll take all the maths and that. Yeah, that's cool. But
That god stuff.
It must have been smoking crack on the rest of the stuff. But yeah, we'll take all the cool stuff. Yeah, thanks, Steve. But yeah, and people just think that's nuts. And then it goes back to the story of the deluge, Noah, and it all relates to every other religion since.
Okay.
So, like the story of Noah, the deluge, there was a mass flood. Again,
Yeah.
there's evidence in the subsidiaries of land and everything. There was a huge flood, the deluge, and the Sumerians say that the gods. There was going to be basically they made the us Neanderthals clever to help them mine gold because they needed it for their planet to put gold around their planet to reflect the sun. So they came here for gold.
Neanderthals and Homo sapiens are different things, though.
Yes, well, you know what I mean. These sort of... We went from Neanderthals to Homo sapiens.
Neanderthal?
And then and then there's the Danonians, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went from Neanderthals, basically, and Homo sapiens, Drongos, basically not knowing much, to overnight suddenly having intelligence.
Yeah, because most of the Homo sapiens killed off the Neanderthals.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that then there's... As I say, there's like the Danonians, I think is the name of it, or something, which was close to the Homo sapiens, which is technically where we came from. But again, there's that, stepping back into that as well, you look at the bloodlines, because you either are negative or are positive, which means rhesus negative or rhesus positive. So rhesus positive means that we are related to the closest evolutionary monkey, the rhesus monkey. And that's what rhesus positive means, that bloodline is related to that monkey. Rhesus negative means you're not.
And that's it.
That's it. We don't know where you've...
It's like some of you have Reese's Pieces and some of you don't have Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, it means you're not... We don't know where that come from, but you ain't from the monkey. Okay?
So what you're saying is then basically the Sumerians thought that it was gods.
Yes.
But technically now we perhaps think that they was just called gods.
Yeah, that's
when
it.
Effectively there was aliens.
That's exactly... That's the art of ancient astronaut theory, essentially. And that's where it all stems from. We're a cargo cult, and that's what they call it, because in World War II there was cargo planes dropping cargo over, I can't remember what country it was, some island in the remote Pacific somewhere, and they looked up and they were like, "Oh, the gods are dropping stuff," and they built planes and they worshipped these planes that they'd built out of wood because they were replicating what was in the sky.
Because they didn't know any different.
Yeah, didn't know any different. So the Sumerians said that the gods came down, made us in their image to mine gold. Cleared off, and then there was going to be a massive flood, and they were just going to let it happen. But one of the gods was like, "No, I ain't going to let it happen. We're going to save some of them. Go here and save them." And then he said the god had an argument with the rest of the gods, and saying you shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? We didn't want that to happen, but no, they're all right. We'll just leave them to it. You know what I mean? We've made them clever. We've given them all that stuff. Leave them to it. Clear off. And this is all kind of related. A guy called Zachariah Stitchin.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, so
That's the why I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's got this book called if you know about the Anunnaki and
that's
so on,
what I know.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. So he's got this book called The 12th Planet, which a lot of that comes from, where he translates the Sumerian
That's
texts.
Nibiru.
Yes, that's it. But he's also very sort of, disproven. There's a lot of people trying to slate him and say that he's wrong. There's a website called Stitching Is Wrong, actually. Where
it's aptly named website.
Yeah. And it's where a load of scholars are going through disproving his translations of it. But although they disprove his translations of it, the bare bones, when you step back a bit, is still there. The story that the gods put us here, and that's what they're saying.
And with this theory with the Sumerians, is that the Anunnaki? Is that the one?
That's it. Yeah. So
we have spoken about this on the podcast before, but it was about a year ago.
So yeah, they say they gave us all that, and then their god, I think it was Osiris, was born end of December. Mother was a virgin, father was God. And then since then, Hindu gods, born end of December. Mother was a virgin. Jesus, born end of December. Mother was a virgin. It all kind of stems from that. You've seen Life of Brian. Like, follow the gauze, follow the shoe. It's that it's started from the Sumerians and it just spread off. And then obviously you move on to religion, and the Romans did the Second Testament, and where they've made, before that, the First Testament was obviously very much a historical book. And there's a guy called Eric von Daniken. I've met him, a really intelligent guy, and he came up with ancient astronaut theory. So he looks at religious texts and says, if we were to translate these today, how would we translate them? Because they were translated years ago from Arabic. And like, heaven in Arabic means the stars. That's literally the translation.
Oh, okay.
So the gods, if you look at the Bible today, okay, the gods came down from the stars, angels, lights around the head, come down in tongues of fire. They flew in chariots in the sky. Do you know what I mean? If you were to translate that today, because back then they didn't know what a spaceship, a helmet looked like. They didn't know what a spaceship looked like.
And so if you're painting that, you're going to paint it as...
If you were to retranslate it today, you'd be saying they come down in helmets with lights on and flew around in spaceships. And the Hindus, the exact same text, the Hindu texts talk about the Vimanas, the gods flew around in the Vimana ships, and again, chariots of fire, the dragons, snakes in the sky with fire coming from them. There's myths of dragons in China, in Mexico, all over the world, myths of dragons. And how do these separate people see these things. You know, you look back to ancient Mexico. There's pictures. In fact, I've got one. They used to model the heads in the shape of the gods. So, you know,
I've seen that.
Okay.
They'd band the heads up from a baby so they could shape the heads
What?
like the gods.
And that's what we see. That's quite a generic
And then
image of an alien these days.
And then you've got pictures in the pyramids of tanks and helicopters and
Is that real?
yeah,
Shut up.
It'll be on screen, but
That's actually
fucking
real.
yeah. That's in.
How old is that?
I don't know the exact date.
Can't,
roughly,
no, I'm not. That can't
like-
be real.
Yeah, it is. No, that's fake. You can look into it. This is one of the Sumerian tablets.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, that shows us the solar system.
Is that the Zachariah one? There's a picture of him holding that? Yeah.
And people are, people try and disprove that and go, no, that ain't the planets. I mean, you're telling me that ain't the sun and that ain't the planets.
Yeah.
You know
Go
what I
back to that tank one.
Yeah, that tank one blew my fucking mind.
mean? Yeah.
That is genuine. That's a genuine, honest,
Yeah.
real picture.
Yeah. There's another picture of a guy.
There's a half pipe in it.
Tony Hawk is an alien.
And
Confirmed.
like a radar
Confirmed.
station,
There's another picture.
a helicopter, a tank, and that looks like what
Hang on,
would
come
be
here,
a
I need to see this
UFO.
shit. This is fucking insane.
What? That's actually real.
Yeah.
That's genuinely in a pyramid.
Yeah. There's
I
another.
told you it was aliens.
I'm sold.
You said it was brown people.
There's another.
You was wrong. I knew you was wrong.
No.
Yes.
No. Aliens might have been brown.
Yeah, so there's another sarcophagus tomb cover in Mexico somewhere. I can't remember what it's called. It's called the something astronaut of a guy sitting in what looks like a rocket holding control sticks.
Is that where the thing in Alien came from? You know, the pilot, and then Prometheus kind of like backdates it.
Oh, I think it was used in one of those in the film.
Because there's a thing in the first Alien film where there's just, I can't remember what he was called, but he was referred to as an astronaut essentially.
Yeah, I can't remember that. He begins with a P. He's called the P.
And then in Prometheus, or in the one that came after that, they actually explain him or one of them. Have you seen Alien? Do you know what I'm on about?
Are you erect right now?
Nah, I'm all right.
I feel like you should be a little bit.
I'm happy. I'm enjoying this conversation.
Because this is literally like,
it's right up my street.
this is your Christmas day, this isn't
It's
it?
right up my street.
I'm just saying, gobsmacked. That picture
That
there,
blew my mind.
that is,
That has blown my tiny fucking mind.
there's no way that's real.
Yeah, you can have a look into it.
I mean, we will,
Yeah.
like 100%. But if that's real, then aliens are a thing, 100%.
That's insane.
That's enough to make me believe her. Like, if that is real and more than 100 years old, aliens are legit.
Right, yeah. Helicopter hieroglyphics, Wikipedia. There you go.
That's got to be
The Temple of Seti at Abydos.
So the only way that's like that is that they've gone forward in time. It's not that, because you wouldn't say this is what a helicopter's going to look like, and then
No. That's not a prediction.
You're still going forwards and backwards. You keep forgetting there is no time.
There is no time.
in my head that's how it works.
We have
all
tried
right?
to have this conversation many times.
Because otherwise, none of us understand, right?
We
We're
do.
not all as intelligent as you two. You've got to. This is my role, right? I dumb it down for people. Obviously, I understand. Obviously, but I have to re-explain it for the dumb people out there.
Yeah, who don't know.
Yeah,
that don't know.
Well, I think that's a
What is
not
your theory
me,
of
by the
time?
way.
Wait, what is your theory of time? Like, in terms of presentism, eternalism, in terms of linear time?
Yeah, pretty much the same as what you said. There's no such thing as time. Everything happens now. We can skip between it if we want to, split it,
Okay.
So why don't we?
because we're dumb.
Because we don't know how.
Or because we haven't released that yet. You know,
Yeah.
that might be next week's iPhone.
Could be.
I do think, and the thing, I was having this conversation with someone last week or the week before who I've known since I was 5. Steph Stewart, went to school with her, and she was her response was, "I don't like that." I was just like, "Well, what do you mean you don't like it?" She's like, "Yeah, it's not for me." And I was like, "That's fair." Like, it was I
Which
think
bit?
the theory of time,
Right.
because I think some people don't like the idea that they don't have free will, but. Because it eliminates it immediately. That's the problem with the block universe theory. It eliminates the free will. But as I said to you, the problem is you're looking at it from the user point of view. You're looking
Because
at
it's
it from
already
how it affects
happened.
you. Yeah.
If you shut your eyes, nothing's actually happened. That's the double slit experiment. That's scientifically
Yeah.
proven.
Wait, what?
If there's no observer, then you create your own reality. You literally look at the double slit experiment. We won't bore
Explain
everybody with that. Okay. It's a long thing for me to
It is
explain.
a
Do you want me to
long
go through
thing.
it?
Dumb it down. Give us the
The dumbed down version is pretty long.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. Imagine. Right. Everything's made up of electrons and atoms. Yeah. So, what scientists did, they wanted to see if they behaved like waves, so wave of possibilities, anything's possible, or in a straight line. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, right, how are we going to work this out? So they've got, imagine a board here with 2 slits on it.
Yeah.
And a paintball gun is shooting, we'll say the paintballs are atoms through 2 slits. So on the wall behind here, I've got 2 slits here on the wall behind. If it's acting in a straight line, you're going to get 2 slits on the wall because where they've gone through and some have bounced off the board. If it acts like a wave, like when you drop a stone in a pond, they bounce off each other. So you get an interference pattern. So you'd have about 8 lines where they bounced off each other behind.
I'm with you.
And you get that interference pattern behind. So like I said, whatever result we get, we're going to know. So they shoot them through and they get an interference pattern.
Okay.
It's a wave of possibilities. Right, okay. So what we'll do now is we'll trick it. We'll shoot atoms through one by one. So lead board, shoot atoms through one by one. Still an interference pattern. Right, that's weird. That means mathematically it's bouncing off itself. It's not bouncing off itself. It's splitting in two. How is that happening? So what we'll do, we'll measure it, we'll watch it and see which one it's going through and what it's doing. So they put a camera on it. When they put a camera on it, it changed. It went to leaving 2 single slits. So the simple act of observing changed what that did.
Right.
When you look away, it's a wave of possibilities. When you're looking at it, it's 2 slits. When you're looking away, it's an interference pattern. So it's a wave of possibilities until you create it.
Okay, you explained that well. I still don't understand it, but it was explained well.
Yeah, very well.
I don't understand.
That's better than I would have explained it. So.
Oh, we'd still be here next week if you were explaining it. Okay, so in what context then is that in what we're talking about?
So in regards to time, the whole thing with time is that we did go into this in great detail about 4 episodes ago. And we went to thermodynamics and everything.
You did.
I did.
Everything's only linear and happened already because we are here looking at it.
So if I shut my eyes, then what? Things are still happening.
I went quiet then on purpose. She was like,
things are still happening, aren't they? Like my life doesn't stop if I shut my eyes.
But because I'm observing you.
Oh.
And even if we all shut our eyes, they're observing us.
Yes.
So what if everyone shut their eyes?
Let's all shut our eyes at once, everybody.
1, 2, 3, go.
I wanted to hit you then so bad.
But then what happens?
Dogs out there, can you
yeah, there's bacteria on you.
Because there's always something.
There's bacteria.
There's always somebody watching.
Okay. I'm kind of in. Right.
Shall we jump back to where we was? Right, okay.
Sorry, yeah. So, I love this episode.
Yeah. I was talking about the ancient astronaut theory. So there's a guy called Eric von Daniken, who I said I've met, a really intelligent guy who came up with this theory. He was like 80 odd when I met him. So I got his book signed, but there's an opposite end of the argument for the same story, which is by a guy called Graham Hancock.
He's been on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he's been on Joe Rogan. Yeah. He's the guy who's always at ayahuasca and yeah. I met him as well. Really nice.
Oh,
bloke.
really?
Yeah,
okay.
I went to one of his book readings in Oxford. Helped him. In fact, I got there early. I had to help him set up his projector, so I got chatting to him, and he's a real nice bloke. So his argument is, it's not aliens, right? It's ancient advanced civilization.
Oh, I know who you mean now.
He's a British guy.
Yeah, I know who you mean now. That was a really good podcast.
Yeah.
So he goes back to like 12,000 BC, the Younger Dryas, where everything was frozen over, and we had an advanced civilization of humans that either wiped ourselves out or got wiped out somehow, and some of those were left over. So that's his kind of theory of the same story. So it's 2 ends of the same stick, but it all revolves to the same story, that something advanced gave us that initial kick, essentially.
That's crazy.
So, with Prometheus,
yeah,
I'm going outlandish here, but the concept, because when I read about Anunnaki, the thought was that we served them for gold.
Yes.
That's what he said.
And they come back round every 10,000 years.
Yeah. The planet is supposed to revolve round every, I think it was like 30,
so it loops out of, like, if our solar system's here, it loops in and out of it, right?
And apparently every time it comes back, it causes, again, when you talk about the Sumerians, they said that a planet came around, smashed a load of things up and created bits in space, which is the asteroid belt now. They basically said the asteroid belt was because this planet came around and smashed a load of stuff up. Yeah, again, that's one of those. That's part of the stitching is wrong stuff that is
argued,
debated.
Okay,
yeah.
And with the theory of the Anunnaki, was it that we already existed as a species and that gave us a kick, or that they created us?
I'm not. Well, there's both.
Or is there both?
Essentially,
There is
I mean,
both,
I can't say. Well, it's this one.
It's just an argument, it's a theory,
But
right.
there's arguments to both.
Which do you believe?
I believe I believe what's in the Sumerian tablets. They're the guys that give us maths. You know what I mean? I believe they come down and again, you look back to the Bible. It all says God made us in His image. You know, look back at any religious text. We were made in their image. It all kind of comes back to that. I think we were given a bit.
Those
of
gods were 11s.
I'm in. So basically, they're saying then. So that also lends itself to the fact that if there was aliens effectively on here, we wouldn't necessarily know, because that's kind of what we're modelled after. Initially, anyway.
That's it. There's a lot of people that believe that aliens walk amongst us, and again, the deeper you get, the more crazy stuff you start to believe. That was one of the things initially. I was like, nah.
That's where you lose me.
Yeah.
When you start aliens walking amongst us, that's where I'm just like, I'm out.
I was exactly the same. but now
Don't say Elon. Don't say Elon.
Elon Musk?
No. He's no.
Asperger's. No. Alienism.
Yeah.
Telling you.
But yeah, I was exactly the same. I was like,
Where
no,
are you
I'm
now?
lost there.
Because you're saying you were past tense.
I'm over the edge now.
Oh, are you?
I'm,
Are you in?
I'm bored.
Do you
with
believe in
it.
lizard people?
No.
Okay, good.
No, but that's one of the 12.
The lizard people are.
Yeah. But
do they believe that like the Rothschilds and stuff like that, are they part of what are actually known as the lizard people? Or?
no, but they know what's going on. Do you know what I mean? The Rothschilds know what's going down, don't they?
Do you think?
Yeah, of course. There's so much hidden from us. I mean, like the black budgets the government have. You know, the black budgets every year. There's $50 billion that goes that's just gone into the black budget.
Well, we talked a lot about government corruption recently.
Yeah.
So
that's what's going into testing, and some of the UFOs you'll see now are being flown by our pilots and tested, and again, that people are coming out saying this. Officials, pilots, people who work for the military are coming out and saying this on record now, and that's why it's getting more from your average, as I say, redneck saying he saw a UFO now to
some legitimatized people.
And this has all been happening since, like I say, since 2016 onwards, and that's why I popped that bet down, because since then.
Have you popped another one down for 8th of July?
No, but I'm debating it. I'm debating it.
We just bought Doge, so we might as well do that as well.
Might as well lose twice.
Exactly.
Yeah. So leading up between then, there's cave paintings of UFOs or supposed UFOs. What looks like a UFO, it could have been some bug they found back then. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of cave paintings of, again, the typical alien, big eyes sort of thing. And then it all moves up then to 1942, which was the Battle of Los Angeles. And that's when we really we created the technology to create the nuclear weapons. In 1942, there's the Battle of Los Angeles, and shitloads of UFOs are flying over Los Angeles.
Wait, what? Is this the film, or is this an actual thing?
No, this was real. You can look at the picture, type in Battle of Los Angeles, you'll see the picture.
It'll be on screen.
Yeah. You'll see all the spotlights coming up at the UFOs in the sky and the army shooting at them.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Serious?
I mean, I know there's a film called Battle of Los Angeles.
This is legit. This is, this happened.
Wasn't there a Rage Against the Machine album called Battle of Los Angeles as well?
I have no idea.
And,
it's not really relevant.
And this is
Rage
when it
Against the
all
Machine
kicked
always
off. This is when the government were going, what are these UFOs? And this is when, as I said before, they started putting out the ads, and we need to find out what these are. Then after Roswell, as I say, within 6 months, CIA formed and so on, and it was all like, don't worry about it.
And when was that battle? 1942, did you say?
Yeah. And that's when it...
Wasn't that during World War II? Didn't that end in 45?
It started in 42, didn't it?
Did it start in 42?
I think so.
Roswell was 46. it was when, I think, it was when we made I think it was the hydrogen bomb, or one of the bombs, basically.
When was the Hiroshima one? Was that 39?
So...
I can't remember.
So it all revolves around, and you said the most sightings are around nuclear things.
Areas.
And if you want to go to a really interesting place in the UK, Rendlesham Forest, it's basically UK's Roswell.
Right.
We've got a Roswell here.
Yeah. In fact, you can get the audio recording, I'll send you the link, of the policeman on the scene, watching the UFO, talking to the mic, going, it's left protrusion through the trees. Okay, that light's coming right at me now. This is weird.
But how's the audio quality on it?
Really good, yeah.
I'm playing it right now.
305. We see strange strobe-like flashes to the rather sporadic, but there's definitely something, some kind of phenomenon. 305 at about 10 degrees horizon. horizon, directly north, we've got two strange objects. Half-moon shape, dancing about with colored lights on them. That gets to be about 5 to 10 miles out, maybe less. The half-moons now turned into full circles. As though there was an eclipse or something there for a minute or two. 0315, now we've got an object about 10 degrees directly south, 10 degrees off the horizon. And the ones in the north are moving, one's moving away from us. Moving out fast.
This one on the right heading away too.
Yeah, we're both heading north. So here he comes from the south. He's coming toward us now. Now we're observing what appears to be a beam coming down to the ground. This is unreal. 330 or 0330, and the objects are still in the sky, although the one to the south looks like it's losing a little bit of altitude. We're turning around and heading back toward the base. The object to the south is still beaming down lights to the ground.
And we're back.
Yeah, so Rendlesham Forest, as I say, you've just listened to the audio recording of the police officer there, some highlights of that. So that, Rendlesham Forest, is straight next to, I can't remember the name of the Air Force base, but it's basically where we kept all our nukes.
Oh, okay.
Again. And you can go and visit Rendlesham Forest now, and they've done a trail around. It's a great walk around, actually, if nice day out.
Where is it?
I don't know, I'm terrible with
North,
geography.
south, middle?
Earth.
Earth, okay. Somewhere
Middle
on Earth.
Earth.
Yeah.
Middle Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, in the UK.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a small area.
Yeah. But yeah, so you can go walk around Rendlesham Forest, and they've actually put a big fake UFO now where it
Really?
landed. Yeah, and you go and stand next to it in a photo, and there's stories around there of it. But as you walk around, you can still see the bunker lids, and there's big bunkers underneath it, and that's where they kept all.
Did you get in them?
With enough effort and a crowbar, maybe. Yeah.
We'll have a special there.
No, if you want to go bunkers, I'll
So
show you where
what
to
was
go
the
after
story
this
of
one.
it then? You was halfway
Yeah,
through
so-
explaining the story of it.
So the UFO came down. Guys reported it. They went out and had a look, and so on. And you listen to the audio recording of what's happened, and it was the UK's Roswell. Essentially, these lights come down, zipped around, and went off again. Left a big intrusion in the woods, big old sort of landing plate, and then afterwards, they said it was. Even though it was military officials that spotted it, reported it, and a policeman that saw it, they said it was the lights from the lighthouse.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that made a big hole in the forest.
yeah, that was the official report. It was
Okay.
lights from the lighthouse, and again, that kind of goes back to sort of what we spoke about a bit off camera. Is the internet at the moment, like the whole Battle of Los Angeles thing, they attributed to Japan and then to weather balloons and Roswell. The guy from Roswell, he had the material from Roswell to hold up, and the last minute they came in and asked him to swap it and hold up a weather balloon, and it all stems back now to that was the initial start of that Truman's idea of let's throw a load of crap out there.
Yeah, so you make a film with the same title, and when you
Yeah.
search it, oh, it's the film.
That's it, yeah. So the internet now is the epitome of that today, and that's why there's so much disbelief and way people are led, because you throw a load of other crap into there at the same time. You let a load of other people, nutters on there as well, and they just do the job for you then.
So why do you think, I mean, I can think of several reasons why,
Yeah.
but why do you think governments wouldn't want humans to find out that there is extraterrestrial life?
The main
Visiting
thing
Earth
is
more so.
because there's multiple reasons. One, religion.
Okay.
People devoted their lives living in monasteries. All of a sudden you tell them, oh yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Then again, if they've got enough mental power, they could
They'll just
relate it back to
yeah.
God.
Just,
In fact-
I was worshipping the wrong dude.
Yeah. In fact, the Catholic Church have got a meeting in July prior to this announcement again, the Freedom of Information Act, to discuss the possibility of extraterrestrial life.
And how, I sent you that. Do you remember?
You did actually.
And
yeah.
how it would affect
Yeah.
religion and what the effects would be.
Yeah, that's it.
in
Yeah,
terms of all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so it's all. I believe it's all easing in right now.
So they're actually having a meeting to discuss the possibility. And these are like the top dudes.
Yeah,
the top god dudes.
Pope dude.
Top god
Pope and
dudes.
his buds.
The top god dudes are
Yeah.
talking
Top god
about if aliens are actually real,
Well, I mean, the thing is, I'm guessing
how does it affect us?
they'd probably know, wouldn't they?
well, there's
Would they be privy to that information?
in
do you
the
think?
Vatican archives. Apparently, there's texts down there.
What's
that,
the thing with the Pinecone at the Vatican. Do you know about that?
No.
Okay, there's a thing with the cerebral gland, like the third eye,
Oh yeah, I have heard about that. Yeah, now they take the human body apart and it looks like
like a pine cone.
yeah,
So I've got a pine cone tattoo.
the pictures of
Really?
yeah, there's pictures of it in ancient Egypt as well,
Yeah, yeah.
carved on the walls of that cerebral gland.
Well, the gods of the Anunnaki. Hold one
Who's the
as well.
Anunnaki?
They're the aliens.
Oh,
they're
the
the
ones that
aliens.
look like us.
Yeah, they're the ones.
That's what they were
Can't-
called
there's
back
two-
in the day.
Yeah, there's two names that begin with K. I can't remember what the names are now.
That's just what they called them at the time.
That's what they call themselves.
Oh, okay.
So, and they were meant to have come down, and the depictions of them. You know, in ancient Egypt, in the hieroglyphics, and everyone's the same height, even though one dude sat down,
Right.
and everyone else is stood up, but yet they're still the same height. That dude sat down is meant to be the Anunnaki guy.
Right.
And the concept of it was, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, because you know way better than I am, is that they come from a planet called Nibiru, which comes into our solar system every 10,000 years.
I think
Or is it every 1,000 years?
I've either got 12 or 30 in my
Okay.
head. I can't remember which one.
Again, you're probably more accurate than I am. And when they came here last time, or a few times ago, wherever, they basically advanced us to mine gold for them. That's
Yeah,
our
we said that
function.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's who they are.
So what's the pine cone thing?
The dude's holding a pine cone.
What?
I don't know. But there's a whole thing of the pine cone being the cerebral gland. So in your third eye, the concept of it, it's a gland in your brain, and it's meant to look, if you cut it in half or something, like a pine cone.
Oh.
And there's a thing with the pine cone where if
Yeah.
you look at it, like mandalas, if you look at a pine cone from the top, it looks like a
But I
mandala.
think that the main thing around that though is that the reason for that is because the cerebral gland is what it's what makes us who we are, and
Yeah.
it's kind of how would they have known that back then? That's the key.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So that's kind of the big why is
And one better way to give somebody intelligence or advance them rather than go,
Well, yeah, because just say language wasn't a thing, but telepathy was, theoretically. That would be where you access it.
yeah.
And the whole thing with the Vatican is that there's a statue of a pine cone there.
Remember when we discussed what's that thing Elon's doing with the head in the head? What's that called?
Neuralink.
Oh yeah,
Neuralink.
Neuralink. where
Remember
he
that? Straight in.
Yeah.
He took
And you're
Do it,
still
do
telling
it,
me that
do it.
Elon, and you're telling me that Elon's still not an alien.
I don't think it's an alien.
Come on.
I tell you, who is an alien? An alien.
Go on.
Nikola Tesla.
Do you reckon?
Apparently, according to the release of the latest CIA document from the Freedom of Information Act, Nikola Tesla was dropped as a baby to advance human technology. That's from one of the CIA documents.
So he was put on this earth as a baby alien.
You'll be able to find that and bring it up.
Okay.
Yeah,
On screen now.
He was a baby alien.
apparently.
Why just one?
Well, it only takes one.
Look at Jesus. Look at all the trouble he caused.
True. True. I mean, there's only one Elon, and look what he's doing.
Unless Jesus was an alien.
He's quite literally changing the world.
Jesus could be an alien. He turned water into wine and all that shit with the fish.
And the other thing, going back to bloodlines again, which I was talking about the potential bloodlines of aliens, which is the negative. O negative is the top all, O negative is what ambulances carry around.
Okay.
Because that blood will go into
It's
anybody.
a neutral blood.
Yeah, it's the top level blood that go into anybody. But O negative people can't have like a positive blood transplant. They can only have O negative. And you look at a lot of the leaders of the past, like Elon Musk, some of the top guys throughout time. Most of the presidents have all been O negative blood type.
Really? That's weird.
I don't know what I am.
I have no idea what I am.
You're gonna find out now,
Do
aren't
you
you?
know what you are?
O negative.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Is that alien bloodline or monkey bloodline?
Alien.
I would put money on the fact that any dumb person that you know, I bet you I'm positive.
You're positive for a few things.
There's an
I'm
interest-
100% I'm monkey related.
There's a book called Bloodline of the Gods, which is an interesting read. It just goes into that in detail. If you
Okay.
Because if you actually think about that, that makes no sense. Why as humans, we're officially, the same species. Why would we have different blood types?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
animals
one's
Really?
related to a
Blood types.
monkey, and one is
Not.
We don't know where that is.
Do animals have different blood types?
I don't know about that actually.
I'm going to research that.
Oh, as in it's like a
Do
species.
different lions have different types of blood?
True.
Well, I've never actually even thought about that until this second.
good
That's
point,
an
though.
interesting.
It's a good point.
Tune in next week for more good points.
That's,
Okay.
I didn't know that.
I want to get into pyramids.
Oh, okay, I've loved pyramids. I've been to. I presume you have as well. You've been around, haven't you?
I haven't been to Egypt yet. I've been to
You have no authority to talk on this
Chichen
subject.
Chichen Itza.
then?
I've
Yeah.
been to Chichen Itza. I've been to a couple in Guatemala,
Cool.
like in Belize.
Okay, maybe you do then.
So I've been
I've
to
done
a few.
Chichen Itza and Egypt.
I do want to go to Egypt. It's like high on my
I want to
list.
go to the one in China, which is banned from
I wanna go to
anybody
that
going
one.
to.
Yeah, no, I wanna
and then
go
the
to
one
that
in Rome.
Why is it banned?
I don't know.
China.
Yeah.
Because they can.
Yeah.
China.
You're not allowed to see that.
Because China.
Can't see it even.
No, you're not allowed to go near it.
Really?
Yeah.
Because China.
Because China.
We'll
Maybe
never
that's
make it
where-
big. We'll never make it big in China.
Maybe that's where they get all their. Well, they're not because we're not in. No one's in China.
Well, that's true.
Other than what if you're Chinese.
If you're Chinese.
That's it. Anyway, pyramids.
Pyramids.
Yeah.
So, just you go first. I'll have questions afterwards.
Okay, right, yes. So that's the one that I've never, a lot of the research I do comes to a natural conclusion because you see one bit of evidence saying this, one bit of evidence saying that, and I like it, chess game in my head, everything kind of goes to that, and that all adds up. If that was in court and you present all that evidence, that would be
Science.
yeah, that would be real. Pyramids has always been the one I'm like.
Inexplainable.
Yeah, inexplainable. But other to say that I'm interested in how the pyramid shape obviously has an effect on things. Apparently, I've never actually tried this or looked into it, but if you get a razor blade and put it into a
I've
pyramid
heard
shape,
this.
that it'll never go blunt or rust. Because
Oh, I
it's
haven't
in a
heard
pyramid
that.
shape.
I thought you were going to say you can't fit a razor blade between the.
Okay, now into a natural pyramid shape.
Okay.
I don't know if that's real, but underneath the pyramids, there's all the tombs and things like that they won't even let you go deeper into because there's apparently stuff down there. But what interests me and does make me think that it is in some way related to aliens or the gods or whatever you want to call them is the positioning.
Yeah,
and
to
the
the solar
mathematical.
system.
Yeah,
The stars.
lined exactly with Orion's belt.
Yeah.
Which is where a lot of people said the aliens come from in ancient texts and so from, and perfectly in the exact centre of landmass on Earth within. I can't remember what it's within, but it's within.
It's just
not
off from
millimeters.
the
It's like
longitude and latitude lines.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's perfectly centred. People who've got no idea how to look from up there to get that in that place at that time is either very good luck, like the size of
Yeah.
the moon again, or it's
See that one, because the moon is. We didn't make the moon.
okay. Yeah.
The universe made the moon.
Yeah, but you don't know that.
We didn't make the moon. Well,
You don't know that.
It predates us. It's like 4 billion years old.
But you don't
And we're
know
like 4.3 billion years old on this planet. So
We didn't make it, but it's not to say it's not.
okay, it is
Person-made.
I'm not gonna. You have to throw very good science at me to argue to change my mind.
Yeah,
on
but
the
there is
moon.
no science behind it. That's the point.
Right, fine.
It's
So
the
if-
same as the pyramids. There's no real
Well, no,
science
because the
behind
science it wasn't organic, it wasn't made, it wasn't natural. It's people built it.
Yeah.
So that's where with the pyramids, because the thing that got me, I got into about 2018. I got so far into that rabbit hole, I had to opt out. I was just like, I got like 3 months. I was just in, and eventually was just like,
That's
I'm
what
not
happened
gonna,
to me when I was
I'm
at
not
MUFON.
gonna, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
I got so far in, I stopped doing
Eventually,
it.
yeah, for your own sanity, because you're never going to
Yeah.
find an answer. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll wash my hands of this. I don't remember everything I read or researched or whatever at the time, but the biggest thing that I could find was the power source element of it, which is
Yeah.
the biggest concept of what it is, because it connects to other pyramids around the world.
Yeah.
And
Related to Tesla's pyramid that he built that powered electric cars wirelessly and electrical objects wirelessly back then via a pyramid. He built that, Tesla. Yeah.
Not Elon.
fuck Elon.
Actual
Yeah.
Tesla.
Fuck Elon.
Baby alien.
Yeah, no, I didn't think that he meant the car company.
Yeah, Nikola Tesla had a pyramid that powered electric vehicles, and he used to drive off in his little electric vehicle that's powered by the pyramid. And
Whenever you say Tesla, I always think of David Bowie in, what's that movie? Where he's the magician.
Labyrinth.
No.
Forget that.
He plays Nikola Tesla.
Carry
in the
on
film.
talking
Carry
about
on.
pyramids.
Yeah. I get distracted by shiny things.
Yeah.
So, pyramids. Do you think, who built them?
That's what I don't know.
Who do you think built them? Based on the research you've done.
I think humans built them with alien tech.
Okay.
Would be my best argument because the precision cut,
Do you think
laser
they
cut.
levitated the rocks in?
I don't know about levitate, but there's apparently that guy that built that whole town out of levitated rocks, and then he moved it all in a day because he reckoned he'd found the technology that they use for the pyramids. So there is that theory, but
Wait, what?
a guy had these massive stone statues. He was in America somewhere, and he got this whole little village thing he'd built out of massive obelisk stones. He used to do it at night when nobody was watching, and people were like, how's he doing that? Because he's got no like cranes or anything like that. And then he moved it all like in a day.
Because he thought that he got, or he found.
He
was
reckoned
this any proven? Was this ever?
Well, no, nobody, found what he supposedly got. Well,
But it wasn't one place and it was in a different place.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
because the biggest thing I remember in my research was there's the big tombs that they were saying were tombs, but it was far too big to be an animal, a human tomb. So they were speculating it was an animal tomb.
Yeah.
But they were also saying that could be essentially the battery cell.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, when I went to Egypt, I remember we had a tour guide, and I remember him saying, "Yeah, that's where the cables would run for the electricity in here." And we were laughing. He was going, "No, really?" And I was like, "What?" And he's going, "Yeah, that's how they got the light in here back then." And he was dead serious, like staring at me. And I'm like, "Is this some like Egyptian humour or what?" Like,
Were you a believer when you went though?
Is that why you went?
Pyramids have always interested me.
But look, what I'm saying is that for you to doubt that, is that something?
Well, it's like dropping me as a lobster in a pot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was like, what?
How
is that instant? You telling me?
How was that technology meant to have been lost then?
Well, I know they had batteries. Like you can power a clock from a potato.
Yeah.
They had those, didn't they? Used to power things from fruits. I know that's in like.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's in like techs and things that they've done that.
But so, given that we had that kind of technology so many years ago, what was meant to have happened for us to have lost that technology, if you know, or
no idea what could cause us to lose it. I mean, initial technology apparently we lost because of the Younger Dryas, because they reckon the pyramids were a lot older than they are.
Yeah, because there's erosion of water on there and stuff like that.
Yeah, so if the technology was that old, it would be because of that, going back to the Ice Age, the Younger Dryas, the advance, the lost city of Atlantis was wiped out, and that's how we lost it, and there was a few left that helped us get going. But if it is newer than that, then I don't know why it was lost.
It could be like you said, that it was built with alien tech, but that's it. Like literally, like we'll help you build them,
And then we're fucking off.
and then that's it. But we'll give you some bits and bobs.
This
but
is
you're
how,
not.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly that kind of thing.
I don't want to keep
rather than-
referencing Joe Rogan, but he had that bit where he was like, he thinks that aliens built it and then left. And then the dumb people outfucked the smart people. Everyone died, and then someone just found it, and they're like, "We'll just say we built it," and started carving in there.
Yeah, that goes back to things like stonemasonry, essentially. Like Göbekli Tepe is another ancient monument, years and years old, which is built, and it, there's carvings on that. And at the
Where's
time,
that?
is it Peru?
I think I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been to Peru. The name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on.
Have you seen the Nazca lines at
I
Peru?
didn't go, no.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I wanted to go, but
The landing zones of UFOs. And there's the spaceman you can see from as
Yeah.
you fly over. There's a spaceman carved into the side of the mountain wearing a helmet and boots.
and there's no explanation for why it's there, and it's thousands of years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Type in Nazca images. There's other pictures like spiders and monkeys and things.
But this
carved
thing's
in.
huge.
But mixed amongst those is a
Like
spaceman.
that guy that's got his big dick out
Yeah.
in England.
but,
Yeah.
but crazier than that, older than that.
See, where did that come from?
And there's massive straight lines that go through the mountains and
Knobs.
everything perfectly straight for like miles, which they reckon were like they were trying to say come back and land. You know that cargo cult again? Like I spoke.
So Peru get a big man spaceman, and we get
Big dick man.
a guy with a big pecker.
It's England. It's England.
And some
That's sense of humour.
stones from Wales.
Oh, so
Yeah,
let's go into
Stonehenge.
Stonehenge.
Yeah. So we're talking about stonemasonry. So again, the Mexicans had their pyramids, and they got it. You've been there, so they've got that carving on the
Yeah.
side where at the certain time of year, the solstice.
Yeah, so only two sides.
Yeah, it lights up like a dragon.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And they used to worship the fiery dragon from the sky. So everything relates back. But the stonemasonry is quite interesting because there was technology of carving perfect stones, which was lost.
Okay.
Completely lost. And then the Knights Templar went out on their expeditions, and they stopped off at Mount Sinai, which is supposed to be the first spot, that God came down to.
Okay.
God. And
He's not a religious person, is he? I think we've established that much.
I am actually. I believe in God.
Do you?
Really?
Wait. God, Christian God, or Alien God.
I believe in Einstein's God, which is pretty much like the Force. That everything binds us. We are all connected as one, and in that there is a force that, a force for good.
So you believe in the transfers of energy?
Yeah.
So your God is thermodynamic. I can never say that fucking word.
That's also not what everyone else in the world ever thinks as being God. So actually, you don't believe in God. You believe in something that's the equivalent of, could be perhaps a little bit like God.
So you don't believe in a fundamentalist God?
It's definitely, God is our term for it's our word.
A higher being.
A higher being. Like Allah is a term for a higher being. There's multiple terms for higher being, and it's what depiction or face you put on that. I don't believe there's a man with a beard sat on a cloud.
No.
Okay.
But I believe there is.
I don't think anybody actually believes that.
I'm sure somebody
No,
does.
but I think if they believe it, it's because they
There's
haven't
quite a
actually-
few million
But
people
no, but
that
I think if anyone believes that, it's because they haven't actually thought about it. Like
That's
a
just what they've been
practical
told to
thing.
believe.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe in a power,
Okay.
the Force.
Okay.
Yeah.
A power and energy, they're very different things.
Just that thing that connects us all, the ether.
Okay.
There's an intelligence to it. That's what I believe.
So you think there is design by design?
It's hard to, it's like trying to describe quantum physics. I can't, it's not something I can describe that the human brain can just comprehend and go, oh yeah, so he looks like a dog. Okay, it's not something I can just kind of.
I get, but what I'm asking is, do you think energy or power by design or by chaos?
By natural creation. That's
What was that face?
Do you remember when you was little and mum dad used to have all like the adults over and you'd be allowed to stay up late? Do you remember that? I feel like I've suddenly become 8 years old again and I'm sat in the kitchen listening to my parents talk adult stuff and I have no idea what's going on, but I'm here because I'm allowed to stay up late.
That's another interesting theory, which is a good theory about the Big Bang.
That was a great analogy.
If you were the most intelligent being in the universe ever, how could you get smarter? So the only way you could do that is by splitting yourself into a billion pieces, letting those billion pieces go out and learn things, and bringing those billion pieces back together.
Or listen to our podcast.
Or listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday, new
Because I'm
episodes.
well smarter now.
But no, because you can learn by trial and error. You can create fire
You're
through trial
already
and
the
error.
smartest person in
Right,
the world.
but that's not to say you can't get any smarter.
No, it is.
Because even if you're the smartest person in the world, because
What if he's got a badge
We're talking
that says-
person, I'm talking entity.
Okay.
You are the all-seeing, all-knowing entity.
You've got a badge that
can you
says that.
can you create something more powerful than you?
That's the question. How would you do that?
But then you're not the all-powerful being.
Well, that's
And if you can create something more powerful than you, then you're not the all-powerful being.
exactly, so that's why you'd split yourself up to try and do that, to be the all-powerful
Have you
being.
ever heard that theory of God, which is that God created so many cycles of life, got bored of it, so it was like, I'm going to basically make myself a being on that planet, but forget that I'm God?
Is that what Jake is?
What?
So there's a
Am I
theory.
God?
Yeah. No, we're all God. We are the manifestation of a
Well,
God
not now, I
that
am.
has forgotten.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Right, okay.
That's kind of what I'm saying. You split
That's what I mean,
yourself
so
up
you
into a
split
billion
yourself up,
pieces,
yeah.
forget, relearn, come back.
But how do we get back?
Well, the universe is contracting, isn't it? Big Bang, it's all coming back together at one point.
Big crunch.
Yeah, the big crunch.
Do you like the big crunch? We've discussed that
no
before.
idea.
We've discussed this. Pay attention when I talk to you.
Strap in. I haven't even said it once.
Sorry, yeah, we should have said it at the start. Strap in.
It was all started with crazy people seeing UFOs. Now it's like real science and shit, and I'm lost. You know me in science.
Let's get back to your notes.
Right, let's get back to my notes. So I was in like the 40s, and then they created Project Blue Book, which was actively created. A guy called J. Allen Hynek, a professor of physics at Ohio State, was set out to create Project Blue Book.
Yeah.
To go out and investigate aliens, report back on, or UFOs, sorry, not aliens, on what they are. And he came out later and said, yeah, that whole project was to debunk it. He said, we were sent out to the ones that we knew weren't going to be real. The ones that were passed somewhere else. So the government actively went out and set a whole project to say we're looking into it, to debunk it, essentially. But yeah, the Rendlesham Forest was in 1980, which we put back on. So we've gone from the 40s to the 80s. The Zimbabwe school sightings, we spoke about, in 1994. That's a really interesting one. You can look on YouTube. A bunch of kids at a school said, ship come down, landed, aliens come out, and they've all drawn pictures of them and stuff like that. And just a bunch of different kids all saying this, and the teachers and everybody in Zimbabwe.
My biggest question with this, right?
That was so loud.
And obviously, I pretty much know the answer. But why do they never land when the 6 o'clock news is on and they're doing a live broadcast? Right. Why do they not just land behind them? Why is it always
In a
discrete
field,
places or places that nobody sees, or it's one person that sees it, or it's 2 people? I mean, I know because they don't want to be seen. Obviously, they know what's coming, but it just seems
irrational.
Convenient. So apparently there are scientists coming down to explore our planet, which is why they came down in the 40s to see what was going on, and we accidentally caught a crash-landed one, got a live ET from Roswell, come to an agreement, which is when Eisenhower met one, that we would let them visit and be in some sort of agreement. And apparently there's an agreement where a reciprocal agreement, but it's not known what
between us and them.
Yeah, but not known what we're giving back. So whatever that could be, there's a whole story about our souls and things like this, and that's why we have to have so many deaths and
do you believe in the
wars and
soul?
things like that. Yeah, I think I do. Yeah.
Stop changing the subject.
It's a valid question.
Listen about aliens.
It is about aliens because they're coming down for us. I don't believe in the soul, so
Doesn't mean you don't have one just because you don't believe in it.
I can prove it. Carry on.
Prove it.
Carry on, David, please.
Yeah. Again, not so much a soul, more of a
Consciousness, awareness.
Yeah, that's connected to everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's lots of theories about whatever we're giving back. There's some crazy.
So that's the theory is in terms of why he met one, was to make that agreement.
Yeah, so we had this agreement that.
And we could be getting the tech off them, for example.
Don't mess with us, we won't mess with you, and we'll let you come around and have a look. And then, they come down that the UFOs you see now, most of the time, the biggest one is the underwater ones.
Wait, what?
The USOs, the underwater.
USOs?
Yeah.
Unidentified swimming objects.
Submerged.
Sailing objects.
Yeah.
Why?
There's loads underwater and coming from the Antarctic.
Are they different?
Loads.
Are they
Before you
different
go
aliens?
into that,
They're exactly the same.
Wait, I am here. Hello. You two, hello.
Before we go into that.
Before we go into that, why do they care about us? If they're so advanced and technologically in,
Yeah.
They want our souls.
why do they care?
No, because they don't want us to blow up this blooming planet because we're all a bunch of idiots. What do you think?
But why do they care?
Because they've been...
Because we are a very special planet. We are one of the Goldilocks planet. We've got so much good resources. We're rare.
Yeah, but they clearly don't need it
We don't
because
know
they're
they don't need
already
it.
living the dream.
If
Okay, why do America go to Iraq and steal all the oil?
why do you care that tigers are going extinct, and why do we put them in habitat to make sure they don't?
Why invade other countries?
Are we tigers?
No. But
To the aliens, we are.
Well, it might be oil.
Why do we care that animals are going extinct? Why do we care about whales going extinct, and we're trying to stop whale hunting to make them live and survive? And we're all part of, our Earth is one ecosystem that all works together. If we didn't have algae on top of the ocean, we wouldn't have oxygen. We would be dead, and everything connects to each other. Same with the universe.
I get why aliens would be interested in this
Yeah,
planet.
but what
Absolutely.
are they taking
But we don't know. We
in
haven't spoken to
such
them.
abundance
We don't know.
that we don't miss it?
Gold.
Yeah, but how do we know?
Maybe
We don't-
We'd
that's-
miss it. We'd know something was missing,
How would
surely.
you? How would you know? How would I know? How would we know?
If a shit ton of stuff, whatever it was just going missing,
How would you know?
somebody would say something, surely.
Who's going to say?
Well,
it could be anything.
it'd be pretty fucking obvious.
Say it was zinc, right? Say they were reliant on zinc.
Big fucking holes in the ground.
There are,
Yeah, through people.
There's a massive hole in the Antarctic that goes right into the middle.
but just, the thing is, it might be something that's done.
That was Godzilla versus King
That
Kong.
was-
That wasn't
Yeah.
real, David.
No, you know that film?
Oh wait! Strap in, people.
That film is actually based on a lot of true stories. Say true
I'm
stories.
not having that. No, that film is dog shit.
No, but there's it is a bad film. But Mechagodzilla was ace.
we made a review a couple of weeks ago. Go back and
Right.
watch.
There was a guy, I can't remember his name.
Are you saying there's another planet under our planet, and there's anti-gravity there where you can flip from one
Hang
side
on,
to the
I
other, and a big dinosaur can blow a hole from Hong Kong?
It's not a dinosaur, it's a titan.
It's a fucking whatever.
Pretty much. I don't think I've got. I can't remember the guy's name, but there was an explorer, right, a well-known explorer. One of the presidents sent out to go and explore the Arctic.
Witwicky from Transformers. Was it him?
No.
He did that.
He come back and said, right, there's a massive hole and there's an ecosystem down there. He said...
In the hole?
Yeah. He said, it's like this. And he come back and reported that to the president.
How did he know?
Because he was sent on the expedition.
Yeah,
there.
but did he go down there?
I don't know. But he went there. So anyway, that's kind of...
And he can say, how far down does the hole go?
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't know too much about this.
Okay.
But what I do know is
The
that
base Godzilla versus Kong on it.
every president of the United States has gone to this place in the Arctic, the exact same.
Did Trump go?
Yeah.
Oh,
you can look, and I know this. You can look at the flight paths. You can look at the flight paths.
Yeah,
of the airplane,
yeah.
To see they've all gone to this place. In
They've
the
all been
Arctic.
to that.
Why would every president go to the Arctic? Okay, that's weird.
I'd go for just
Yeah.
to see it.
Hitler sent an expedition, a secret expedition, to the exact same place in the Arctic. And then there's a lot of UFOs, or USOs, should say, being seen coming out of the water around there. And there's something going on at the Arctic. I'm not saying there's Godzilla and bloody giant monkey down there having a fight. But there's something weird
Can I
going
ask
on
you a
there.
question?
And there is a hole.
Can we end this on that question, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You know the question.
Oh, is that it now? We're done?
No. I'm just saying when we come to the end.
Oh,
we'll
I
ask that
thought you meant
question.
you was going to ask the question.
No.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying when we come to end it.
Well, yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
They're the rules.
All right, let's move up to modern day then.
With
So-
Dave, we've
Yeah.
been going an hour and 50 minutes now.
All right, well, modern day is quick.
I'm in no rush. You crack on.
Yeah.
You're always complaining because you're hungry.
So this
I just think there's a lot to take in.
Yeah, this guy Louis Elizondo has just come out. He's head of running the UFO project for the Pentagon. He's the guy I mentioned was on the podcast. He's ran the Tic Tac UFO, and he's doing a lot of work at the moment, a lot of stuff, getting information out there. There's still, he said there's a lot of stuff he can't say, but there's loads of great interviews you can watch with this guy telling you exactly what's going down. And we are still investigating. We have been for some time. When you ask him about have we got alien tech, that's when he...
Okay.
Yeah. He goes quiet. And then you've got people like Nick Pope in the UK, who is the ex-British government guy who used to run the UFO project in the UK.
The England goalkeeper.
Possibly. I don't know. No, different Nick. I don't know football, but yeah.
Okay.
Caught it.
The alien.
But yeah, so he's he's been out for quite a while in the UK, giving out all the information that he knew from when he worked on the projects in the UK. So there's a lot of top officials. You know, the ex-Canadian Minister of Defence has come out and said, you know, the UFOs exist. We have got them, and it's about time we release this technology. You've got that. I can't remember. Was it the Malaysian president or somebody that said we're part of a galactic federation? It was in the news a few
I want to
weeks
be
back.
part of the Galactic Federation.
Yeah, no chance. I asked you this question before. Why, if... I think you probably answered it, really. For him to keep it a secret
Yeah,
for so long, to such an extent,
yeah.
there would have to be so many people involved worldwide.
There was 12 initially.
The 12 aliens or 12 people.
The Majestic 12 initial people that kept it a big secret.
Why were they the Majestic 12?
That was the name they give
Who
them.
were they?
They've changed name over the
What
times.
does that? What did they do?
Who
were they?
They were the initial people after Roswell that were formed to manage the whole UFO thing, and they run the top of the top government that...
So why is it only America that aliens landed in?
They haven't been everywhere. There's loads of
So
signs.
why isn't like and I said this to you before? Why isn't some little country that has nothing to lose or and everything to gain
Well,
from
they
saying
disposing it.
we know there's aliens, we've seen this, here's the proof, look at us now.
Because every crash and things that have happened, we go over there and have it away. The Americans are over there and just...
I've got a lot of
Sorts it
military
out.
bases all over the world.
There is a guy, I told you that guy before, didn't know about the guy that collects asteroids. And there's he's like a handler that the minute somebody reports it,
Yeah.
he's on a
They're
plane,
But
and
they
he's
don't-
there,
it could be
and
the
he's,
same
and he's
thing.
offering money straight away.
They
Give me the
crash.
asteroid.
They don't crash anymore anyway because they were crashing due to our radars. There's another guy who worked at Area 51, again, top military
You're
guy,
saying this with such conviction.
who said an alien came and said, "Can you switch off the radars so we can take off?" And he was like, "Yeah."
But again, how would that get out? How would that be leaked? How can that part of the conversation come out?
Yeah.
But not everything else?
Yeah,
And if they're
he's
so
leaked
advanced-
everything else that he knows.
Everything else is out.
That's one of the things that he knows that he's released in an
If they're so advanced, why couldn't they just turn it off themselves?
Well, this is the thing. I think there's
specifically radar.
Yeah, there was something
But
to
also,
do with the
hang on, let me turn
radar.
you down a bit. You're getting very loud.
I think there's something to do with the radar that was affecting it because, yeah, they're advanced, but at the end of the day, I was going to say that they're only human, but they're only, you know,
They're only alien.
Yeah, you know,
That's my favourite part of this podcast so far.
I fully believe that when you know.
You're saying they've still got flaws.
When I saw that UFO that day,
Yeah.
right, that first one, that light yinging around,
Yeah.
I reckon he was up there going, "Oh, look at them down there." You have turned the invisibility on, haven't you, Carl? You fucking idiot! I mean, they could see us. You know, how do you know that's
Yeah.
not going on?
That's fair.
If they're moulded in our
I mean,
image,
the
I
thing
guess.
is, you will have some really dumb aliens. We're assuming that all of them will be
That
like
is true.
advanced technology
Yeah.
and
Well,
super
that's what I
beings.
mean, like,
but you would have that dickhead who still, you know what I mean? Who thinks like dragons are real on Earth, and so I want to go down there and they're streaming Game of Thrones as well because they've got like.
I suppose there is one person that's like, I've designed this rocket, this spaceship. It's incredible. It does this, it does that. It's amazing. And then they come to Earth and go, wait a minute, why can't we take off? Oh, we didn't turn the fucking...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's done everything except make it unsusceptible to radar. And
Yeah.
now look at us. Now we can't
Now we're
take off.
fucked.
It's like a Friday car that they're building factories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same thing.
I have a question, which is a dumb question, but regarding because
Wait, tell me, that's my job.
with the amount of films and television shows and stuff like that that have like X-Files and stuff like that, is there anything that has mirrored your research which you will go, that's literally what happened, and they've taken it and...
The Roswell film is the best depiction of that. I think it was like a 90s film.
I've heard of it, I haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
if you watch the film Roswell, any of the people who lived in Roswell at the time, anybody with people involved will have come out and said that is exactly how it went down.
Okay.
That's
But
interesting.
is there any, like, you know, like Arrival and films like that? Are there any
Yeah.
things in those where they're like, they've probably taken the concept of what was an actual factual thing and just ran with it?
Yeah, there's a few episodes of the X-Files like that.
There are?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then they mix in all the other...
Bullshit, yeah.
The Hollywood.
Well, they have to make it, that's a perfect way of putting it, yeah.
I mean, another interesting guy is astronaut Gordon Cooper.
Okay.
He's fully come out and said, you know, UFOs exist and have seen them. And yeah,
Why isn't that front page news?
you tell me. You're the one who's anti-establishment.
I am quite
Yeah.
anti-establishment.
Because, like I say, what's in the news?
I've
is-
answered my own question, haven't I?
What's in the news is what they want us to see, and that's why.
Yeah, but we don't live in a world anymore of just
Yeah.
media ran news.
Well, no, that's what you're saying right now.
So it is coming out, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just okay.
It's more and more.
You can find it. You know, you will find it if you go and type in Gordon Cooper, and you'll see all the other nonsense mixed in with it, just trying to discredit him and stuff like that
Okay.
as well. But then once you do enough digging, you see the other people who've worked with him, and they've credited him, and that's the kind of digging I'd do.
It's pretty much literally getting to the point now where they can't hide it anymore, I would assume.
Well,
because there's so much access to everything.
One of the most interesting things talking about hidden stuff is Rudloe Manor in the UK. Right, Rudloe Manor, underneath it, there's 2.2 million square foot of bunkers, hidden network that leads to a nearby military base called the CCC. And Rudloe Manor, it was originally built, it was mined originally, I can't remember what for, a while back. And then in World War, they turned it into an underground aeroplane building area. Factory, yeah, essentially, where they build airplanes in this massive underground base. And then after the war, they released a lot of these things, but it's the one they kept, and there's loads of UFO sightings around there, absolutely loads. And there was reports that that's where UFO research was being done. And all these underground bunkers under this, it looks like, you know the manor off, what's that film with the Umbrella Academy?
The Umbrella Academy.
No, the Umbrella Corporation, sorry, the zombie.
Oh, Resident Evil.
Yeah, you seen that film with the manor?
Yes,
Yeah, and there's a bunker.
Yeah.
It's the Rudloe Manor, basically. It looks like an old manor that you would not look twice at, big old nice building.
Yeah.
And underneath it, there's just all these bunkers. And it goes down to the CCC, which is supposedly a Navy data processing area, just a computer centre. You can't get near that place. It's
Yeah.
like Fort Knox. So, yeah, they used to say there's loads of UFO sightings around there that was being researched under there, and it was all denied. No, there's nothing going on here. You know, they denied it to Parliament and so when they were trying to look into it. And then eventually later it came out, yeah, there was research going on there. And that's in the UK, and you can go visit that place.
And this is just coming out more and more and more all the time.
Yeah, it's just dripping out at the moment. And like I say, the Freedom of Information Act is where we're at now. So
Is this Where are you on your notes as well now?
Yes.
Are you up to date?
Yeah, so we're up to date. So what's going to happen in July is one of two things.
Nothing.
Yeah. No, something will happen.
Okay.
One, it'll be like Project Blue Book all over again.
Okay.
So we've been looking at UFOs. We're not sure what they are. We'll keep looking.
Right.
Yeah, and then that might escalate. I mean, some people think it's going to turn into another false flag where something else to be scared of. Now terrorism and COVID's over, something else to be scared of. You know what I mean? That's some people's theories. Other theories are that they're just going to be legitimately hiding it until we are ready and to keep easing us in, but speeding up the process.
Okay.
Or, which would be, the
This is what
golden
you're
goose
hoping
scenario. Yeah, it would be, and let me bring on Jimmy the alien. You know what I mean? Like that
Alien
would,
Doomsday.
Yeah, that would be a... But either way, they're not bad, they're good. They're
If
not
there
here
is,
to hurt us.
this is purely theoretical. If there's an agreement made where we're like, look, our species can't handle all this shimfo about you guys being a thing, so you keep it low key, we'll keep it low key, and we'll trade information, whatever it is, have all our zinc. Do you think post 8th of July, if it's common knowledge, are you hoping for those guys being like, well, fuck it, people know about us. Let's just, Jimmy,
Like an alien coming
let's
out
just
party.
go. Yeah, let's just go.
I'd love that. I'd absolutely
Well,
love
from
that.
what you were saying earlier, that's what's going to happen because he's just going to travel from there to there and it's going to happen.
The thing
and then
is,
that's going to be the end of it.
if hypothetically this is all accurate, or any version of it is accurate, there are two ways that we're going to find out. One being we're told, or one, it's breaking
We see.
news.
Independence
We see.
Day.
Right.
Yeah.
And one is a lot more effective than the other.
Yeah.
Because if you're told, well, we were told about the UFO thing when that came out last year, and everyone was like, oh, look, UFOs. Anyway, what's happening with COVID? No one fucking cared.
Yeah.
I'm sure in your community
It's
it was
the
like
perfect
insane.
time to release stuff.
Right.
Everybody's looking that way.
Yeah. But even so, when that came out, because we talked about it on the podcast at the time, it was like, well, the government just said aliens are a thing. What else is happening in the
Like,
news?
the most normal
Like, it
thing,
was like
yeah.
literally just passed over.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, again, in your circles, it was like, this is groundbreaking, this is fucking huge. And I feel like information coming out is one thing, but I'm very much a visual person.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
You know
saying.
what I mean?
They need to land behind a live broadcast of the 6 o'clock news, or no
If
one's going to believe
aliens,
it.
I just want a side note, right? If aliens can get access to this and you understand it, can we get the exclusive?
Yeah, could you come on our podcast?
Just in case nobody, we'll get him on as well. We'll get David back on because I'm thinking you'll have more in common conversationally. But
I'll
if you
just
guys,
dip out that day.
no, you be in. But
I'll
if you
dip
want
out.
to come on and tell the world you exist, this is the show.
Let's end it there.
No, that's not. Well,
We need to end it there.
we need to run down from there, right?
Yeah.
Because I want to do lazy journalism now. Because I've got so many questions I want to ask you.
We haven't got time.
We have. Shut up.
Okay.
Right. That's
Jack's falling
That's
asleep.
literally the longest podcast we've ever done.
no, it's not. We started later than that time as well. It hasn't been 2 hours because we
Carry
started
on.
10 minutes.
Carry
after.
on.
So I want to ask you questions, but instead of me asking you questions, I want to ask you what are the most common questions you would get, or what are the questions that you want to answer that I'm not going to ask you?
I'm pretty sure I've asked most of them.
But for the ones that we haven't,
Are aliens real?
So I think the main takeaway point I would say is...
'Cause I ask because I know they're all
Yeah.
screaming right now, going, ask him this.
so...
I've done that.
Calm down.
That's my role.
But for the people,
Ask the stupid questions.
but the questions that we haven't
The
asked.
question is, the big question is, are they good or are they bad?
Ah.
So my answer is, I believe they are good.
Good intentions.
Yeah, good intentions. They believe our Earth is a Goldilocks Earth. They're here for good, to look after us, to make sure we don't blow ourselves up with the nukes. And that's why they're always turning them off and messing around and coming around those areas. But there is an agreement because if we were given all their tech instantly, all the oil companies are shut down overnight. We'd have something in my palm of hand that could power everything. So oil would go under, electricity would go under, loads of massive companies would go under, religion would go down.
Also, we'd
Massive
probably
things
use
would
it
go
to
down.
blow each other up anyway.
Probably, yeah.
So the end result pretty much ends up being the
Yeah.
same situation.
That's it. I mean, we can barely stand one another from different races, different colours. We're just a bunch of thick people.
We are.
So when an alien comes down, some idiot's going to shoot at it.
100%. Americans shot a hurricane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if aliens came, if you met Pete the alien and he said, take me to your leader, would you take him to Boris Johnson?
No,
What?
Would you?
I'd say
I'd be like, hang on,
I think I'll go to Brian Cox. if I'm
speak to
honest.
me first.
I think I'd go full on black and go, yeah, that'd be me.
That's me. Honestly,
Anything you need comes
I
through
do
me.
think, honestly,
Fair
if
point.
aliens came down and I just happened to be, if they came in the woods, I was on one of my walks, right? And I'm like, oh, fuck, aliens are here now. And they're like,
I think that's what people say when they see you in the woods.
to be fair, yeah. They normally turn around and run. But I wouldn't want to see me in the woods either. If they were like, take me to your leader, I'd be like, Boris Johnson. Yeah, cool, what's up?
I'd be like,
How can I help?
if they said that to me, I'd be like, do you know what? Don't worry about it. Can I come with you?
Yeah.
Don't
Where we
worry
going?
about this.
Yeah.
Can I jump in with you and we'll just pretend this never happened? Let's go. And I wouldn't even bother. I'd be gone.
Yeah.
It'd just be the Devil podcast. You'd be on your own.
If he ever disappears, aliens.
That's it. Aliens done.
Yeah, he's gone.
I think that's what I'd do. I'd be like, do you know what? It's not worth it, mate. I mean, you've got Boris. I could bullshit you, or we can just leave.
Speak to the microphone.
I am talking into the
You're all over the
microphone.
place.
Shut up.
So yeah, one of the things that's going to happen, we're either going to be led into some sort of false flag situation and led to believe it's all scary when it's actually not, and then eased in.
I think
down
there's
the
going to
line.
be,
Or we're going to have some real information based on historic things that I've got excited for. Probably what's going to happen is
Nothing.
yeah.
I think there's going to be mass hysteria regardless.
If something happens.
If something slightly bigger than what already happens,
Yeah.
there's going to be hysteria.
It's always that thing in films when aliens come, the first thing people do is loot, which is always such a strange
Yeah.
thing to do.
I think it's worse because it's not just like it's just, oh, that's new. It's been so discredited
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
so long
Yeah.
that all of a sudden, if that's such a massive change from one side to the other,
Yeah.
it's not just like you've discovered a new something and, oh, okay, electric cars is now a thing and people have just accepted it because it was never there before.
Yeah.
Now it's becoming more
Yeah,
popular
it's
and it's
that
getting more
easy, yeah.
useful. So you're easing into it and you're fine. It's gone from saying battery-powered cars kill children to all of a sudden flipping in 50 years going, no, actually, they're really good for the planet.
Yeah.
And everyone's just going,
Okay, then cool, yeah.
then cool.
Sound.
Yeah.
It's such a massive
I mean, people do
turn.
tend to accept the reality that's presented to them anyway.
Well, look
Yeah.
at COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's now a new normal.
Yeah.
And it's only took a year.
Well, it took
You've
a
got the
month.
4 big corporations that own the news who are telling us what to think.
Yeah. Which is kind of losing
I
its
think that's-
power because of social media, because of
Would you not think
the
that's...
internet. I guess people's ability now to communicate. Look, for example, having a podcast even
Yeah.
it can be a source of information. You know what I mean? So you haven't got to get your news solely off the big four.
But we're mixed in, don't forget. We're
Oh,
mixed
we
in with
are.
all the other nutters. who
Yeah,
are-
yeah.
Do you not think that if we're going, not off subject, but we are going a little bit off subject, if, like you've just said there about the 4 companies that tell us what to think,
Yeah.
would the fact that that's not the case anymore be bigger than the fact that aliens are actually real? Because we've been told everything for so many years by these, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
all of that gets discredited straight away. We don't have to think like that anymore. That's not how it is. Aliens are almost like the key. They're opening the door. The actual opening of the door is way bigger
Yeah.
than the aliens just opening it for us.
Definitely. If the aliens came down, but that,
Literally changed. I know aliens will change the world, but what comes
Understand.
after that
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
way
Yeah,
bigger.
it's a complete
yeah.
change to our
What-
entire.
Everything that you've
Yeah,
ever
everything.
thought, known,
Everything.
existed, been told,
Yeah.
just immediately like that, just
Yeah.
changes.
Like, why does sport matter? Why does music
It's
matter?
more,
Why
it
does,
would literally almost be like, yeah, there's aliens, but
yeah.
yeah.
what about the rest of everything that's ever
Yeah.
existed ever? Would be a bigger shock and a
Yeah.
bigger change.
Again, there's another really good book called After Disclosure, which goes into a lot of that, which is
See, I'm a fucking genius. I just don't know it.
and it's all happening again.
I've always said that.
While Elon's going to Mars, I mean, we're suddenly going back up, and see, which is why I think because it's coming out in the news, because we're changing the name to
And
UAPs,
you think this is turning the heat up a little bit more
yeah, I think,
on the lobster?
yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's not going to be a full on. Oh, we've
That's
got
what I
aliens.
want.
I think
If it happens, I
think
want
this
Independence
is
Day.
This is meant to be happening and meant to be easing us in.
Also, we keep saying that Elon's an alien.
No.
Tesla.
You keep saying.
Nikolai Tesla was apparently
Baby
a baby
alien.
alien dropped down. Just so happened, coincidental, that the other person that we think is an alien named
You
his
think.
company after that guy.
Maybe
Coincidence?
maybe he wants to be an alien and wants you to think he's an alien. And that's why he
because
named
it's
it.
all linked.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Marilyn Monroe was killed because of aliens. I'll just throw that in there.
I thought it was because she fucked JFK.
Yeah, that's why he told her about the aliens. There's a CIA document released. Again
Is that why he was killed?
that says she was going to release the information? No, because she was fucking both of them, him and his brother.
Yeah, no, I know.
So his brother told her
That's how I know, like I was there.
yeah, about the vehicles from outer space that were found. She threatened if she was going to go out and release the information. A week later, she died of an overdose.
Wasn't he killed because of the dismantling of the centralised bank?
Yeah, and there's a number of different theories around
Is
that.
what was it? The 10. He was trying to pass the bill 111110 or something.
Yeah.
And that was the thing to stop centralised banks. And then the president that came in afterwards, I can't remember what his name is now.
Is that?
What was his name? Eisenhower. I don't think
No,
it
he was
Eisenhower.
before.
He was
It's
before.
nothing to do with aliens.
No, it's not. But there's a whole thing with aliens and JFK as well.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, there's another CIA document you can put up and show of the actual voice recording when they recorded of her threatening to say that.
Really?
Yeah, so she said, I was shown something from out of this world or something along those lines. She didn't say UFOs or aliens. She said vehicles from out of this world, something like that.
Do you think Elon Musk's an alien?
He looks like one, doesn't he? Yeah, I think...
He's got alien tendencies.
He looks like he's wearing, Men in Black.
Yeah.
Give me sugar in
No,
water.
that's what,
He's wearing a
um,
skin suit. It looks a bit like he's wearing a skin
That's
suit.
what Theresa May looked like.
Yeah.
Theresa May looked like the alien in a skin suit.
I think he's potentially another baby Nikola Tesla dropped off.
See what I'm saying?
I think he's a guy that's grew up with a very, very, very wealthy South African family and had all the facets in life to have the best education.
But you don't become smart by going to school.
You do get the best education.
No, you don't.
Of course you do.
He announced
It
on
helps.
was it Saturday night? What was
Yeah, Asperger's.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Asperger's or Asperger's? 'Cause I always feel like I'm
Asperger's.
saying Asperger's.
I like the South Park episode about that. That's quite
You
funny.
don't
haven't
go to
seen it.
school and then become a genius.
You don't.
You
but-
become it enhances your intelligence, but if you're already there,
Yeah, but you can already be there. And like, if a smart person got a great education who just had the genetic.
why is
input
nobody
for it-
else doing what he's doing? Is my point. Otherwise, everyone would be doing it. Why is he?
Why would
different?
everyone be doing it?
Because they can.
That's a
Why
diff-
is he doing it?
That's a different conversation.
His question: why do you do it? He says because he can.
I'm not arguing with you. We're about aliens,
Alion's an alien.
in your opinion.
No, in reality,
Okay.
you watch the 8th
Okay.
of July.
Yeah, it'll come out.
Right. If
You'll be like that.
if on the 8th of July aliens are a thing, you definitely need to come back on.
Yes.
I've loved this episode.
You'll probably be busy.
Yeah. To be fair,
I'll be telling them I'm the leader.
being probed.
He'll be chasing him down in his car. Going,
If you're the
"It's
leader,
me!"
get him on here.
Are we ending now?
Well, I feel like I honestly, I've got another hour in me.
No,
Easily.
no, but they haven't. We need to ask you probably the most important question of the night, David.
Yes.
In a
Completely,
fair fight,
completely nothing to do with aliens.
it's
Completely
at all,
off topic.
at all. Who would win?
In a theoretical
Yes.
fight, who would win between a gorilla and a bear? And don't just jump in
Shut
with
up.
the obvious answer.
There's no obvious answer.
There is
A gorilla.
a gorilla or a bear.
A gorilla.
I've always liked this man.
Yeah.
From the start, I've liked this man.
Because he's got more close to human genes and he's got the big old muscles and
How does that make you? The bear's literally a wild animal. The gorilla's a human.
gorilla's intelligent.
He's not a human.
Have you seen a gorilla?
He's
He
got
picks
more
his
of
own its
a
arse.
cerebral gland and the potential he's got a brother that lives under the Arctic.
Another point for Gorilla. Team Gorilla, mark it up.
You're all fucking
Mark
idiots.
it up.
This is why aliens don't come and visit us. For that very
That's because
reason.
of that question.
That's out of the 7 people that we've asked, the aliens are visiting me and Andy Harris.
That's it.
That's it.
Everyone else says
because
gorilla.
we know the correct answer to
you
that
think.
question.
Just let you know Elon's an alien. If Elon is an alien, then I'm going to look like an idiot. But David,
thought
thank
you
you
was
very
intelligent.
much.
No, you're not.
I've genuinely fucking loved this podcast.
And me. It's been
Been
good.
amazing.
I've loved it. I've loved coming on. It's
Right
been a
until
pleasure.
the
Appreciate
very
it, man.
end, then it was just the worst. But yeah, thank you very much.
No, appreciate
No
it.
problem.
Is there
Thank you.
anywhere we can direct people to get? Have you got a newsletter? Have you got any information out there? Have you got a blog?
No, I don't tend to blog about this subject. I just tend to keep it to myself.
Under wraps.
Yeah, and follow it in my own sort of...
And you've done a good job here.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
Keeping that under wraps.
Yeah. No, I just I tend to follow it on my own thing. As I say, I got deep into it. I did create a website once, disclosure of something or other, and I created a group, and that's when I got too deep, as I spoke before,
Right,
and,
okay,
and I
yeah.
just eased off and
Okay.
kept it as a hobby.
We'll be your exclusivity
Well,
channel
yeah,
then.
Follow us.
So if you need a way to tell people,
Yeah, when I find out anything new, I'll let you know, and we'll come back on.
You heard it
Hear
here.
first.
Straight on.
absolutely. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Peace and love.
Thank you, David.
Bye.